And we are live, probably, maybe. Hello, everybody. Let me know if my audio is good, as per usual. Hello, Rune Dragon, Lollyho. Hola, Ren. Hello, Ray Ray. That's a great question, Ray Ray. I wonder how much it will run toward, too. Hello, Silver Kogaku. Ren for the whole thing or just ARR? That's a good question. Let's see, we're at number 4. Echo? No echo for Cage, just Brotherhood. Oh, okay. Good, good, good. Hello, Brotherhood. Hello, Chrissy. Evening. I guess, well, yeah, it's 3 here. It's close enough to even. Hello, Chris. Good to see you. Well, we're starting in Gridania, so we're going to hit that first. But when we get back to Limsa, we'll do some maraudering as our usual warm-up. Forgive me if I am a little bit lower on energy today. I don't know why. I woke up and or not woke up, but I've been very, very tired all day. I've been up since about 3 a.m. and I've just been exhausted. But we'll have a good time and it'll all be good. We'll wait a couple minutes here for people to filter in if they want. I will guess 24 parts for ARR. That is optimistic, Ren. We are like what? Here, we're at Call of the Desert. Let's check real quick how many quests there are in A Realm Reborn. AR, MSQ. We're still in 7th Umbrella Era. Yeah, we're in the 15 to 20. Oh, man, yeah, no. Oh, yeah, 24. Okay, maybe 24 for 7th Umbrella Era. Maybe that's fair. Maybe, if we're being super optimistic. Hey, Mr. Archives. Hey, Croterize? Let me know if you, Lollyho, Warrior of Light. Lollyho, indeed. Was wondering if it would hit 3 figures for 2.0. Fair, Ray Ray. You know how much I get on tangents. Yeah, Ren, we'll go with, what's your guess for just 7th Umbrella Era? And what is your guess for up to Endwalker? And in the meantime, let's get this started and let's get back to Limsa. Or actually, no, I'm going to be called out to go do Copperbell. So we'll have to do Copperbell first. So, you're not averse to taking a little trip. Wonderful. As I mentioned earlier, the request comes to us from the Adventurers Guild in Ul'dah. Once you arrive, seek out Momodi, the proprietress of the Quicksands. Think of her as the Sultanate's version of myself. Chances are she'll send you into the midst of danger, but I have every confidence that you will pull through unscathed. Now off you go, Elio. Good luck. Oh, I can't just teleport to Hydaelyn. Right. I don't have the Aetheryte. I should do that. After this, I should go wander around the rest of Eorzean, unlock all the Aetherytes. We love it though. 3421 for up through Endwalker. I don't know that we'll hit 4 digits, but I won't be surprised for 3 digits. I know that when we started End Talkers, it was originally planned as 7 episodes, and we are currently just at hitting Mare Lamentorum at 8. So, yeah. Let's make sure to select some of the Aetheryte shards. Hey, Nick. Glad to have you. Where will you be on part 69, though? I think I'll make sure that I have to start part 69. I mean, we probably won't be in Shadowbringers. If we are, I'm going to be in Yulemoor. I'll be hanging out in a certain locale in Yulemoor. That's where we'll be for part 69. But I'm assuming we won't be there yet. Which means, what's the best brothel? Hang out Costa del Sol? I mean, there's nowhere in Heaven's Word at that point. And Stormblood, there's not really anywhere particularly great. You could be hanging out on certain parts of what the Ruby, or is it Pearl? What is it? It's Pearl? Ruby. Yeah, Ruby Road Exchange with the dancers. You could be, if you wanted to be like a big throwback, you go hang out in the Mining's Guild for episode 69, because that is where a bunch of the a bunch of prostitutes and dancers were during 1.0. I don't think they really hang out there anymore though. Momodi, more like Mamodi. Am I right? Ray, thanks again for helping. Yeah, absolutely, Ren, no problem. How far are you gonna go? I'm planning to go to the end. This is gonna go all the way up to wherever the MSQ is at the time that we arrive there, which probably by the time we catch up, I wouldn't be surprised if we hit. Well, we're doing 3 a week. 3 a week. That means at least 30 weeks before we're in the 3 digits. Well, a little more over than 30 weeks, but that's about, you know, we're looking to half a year to a year to catch up, which means we'll be roughly in time to hit 7.0, maybe a little early depending on the pace. And I may have to take weeks off here and there. So, yeah. I would hope that this syncs up with the release of 7.0 relatively, and then I would be, my plan is to stream 7.0 completely, because Endwalker I wanted to play solo because that was going to be too emotional of an experience, but 7.0 I'm definitely perfectly happy to stream that full, and by then hopefully we'll have a better camera, so I'm not 30 FPS. Hopefully, if videos do as well as this most recent one, which is unlikely, but if they do better than they have been, which though is definitely likely, seeing as we've received so many people who have subscribed in the past couple of days, then that'll definitely help towards saving money in the coffers. Okay, do I go deep from Emoti? I'll let you guys while I catch up in chat. Like, give me what voice am I doing from Emoti? Yes, I just won the balance orchestration role in Agalea. Nice. I was so fucking lucky. I think I won it on my, not my first, but my second. I won the minion on my second run. I got almost all but one orchestration role within my first couple of runs. Honestly, the thing that took me the longest was getting the tank chest piece, but I loved running Agalea so much I didn't care. The Miners Guild in Ul'dah was a brothel in 1.0. Yep. Okay, cool. Thanks, Ray. Dancing cat girls outside of the quicksand. There you go. We could do that. I could listen to the one, yeah, in the Ruby Road Exchange run. Yeah, could listen to 100 episodes of End Talkers. I really love the podcast format. Awesome, Corduroys. Yeah, I'm glad you like it. It seems that a lot of people who are coming in recently are really big fans of it, and I am so glad, because it's really fun to do with me and Naniri. And we have multiple episodes that are recorded that I just haven't finished editing, that I need to finish editing for time. So I will finish doing those and editing some lore talks here coming real soon, so that way we can catch up and get more of those out, because that'll be really exciting. And hopefully at some point, I think we're going to try to put out all of the lore talks and End Talkers on out on platforms like Spotify, and in case anyone wants to listen to them in podcast formats. Christy, the big stage is still there. Yep. Yay, looking forward to watching. You want Dance to Prostitution in Ul'dah, you should have played on Balmung. It is filthy. I mean, there's a reason. I'm on Crystal. I can always transfer over to Balmung. I can just teleport all over there. Yay. I know every day it was terrible, but I felt like I missed out not playing 1.0. Yeah, Chris, I will say, as someone who came in, late Stormblood, I always had that feeling, and the same feeling with A Realm Reborn, not having come in at Realm Reborn, but I do think that it's really helpful to remember that having missed it, we get to experience it as mythology. I will say that I will be trying to create content that's more 1.0 overview and focused, and I know there are other creators who have done so, because I think the big issue with lack of 1.0 playing is that there is important stuff in there that is so easily not represented. Or not represent. It is represented in A Realm Reborn, but it's not. If you weren't there, you don't know. Right after I used the story skip this morning, my new graphics card arrived. It's been a good day. Now MSQ with yeah, nice, awesome, Ren, with the Eorzean archives. Yes, with T. I'm glad you're having a good one, and I'm glad that the story skip isn't bothering you. I mean, you skipped almost nothing because it was just to get through Crystal Tower. Nick, I am here, but distracted by a poster idea using Garuda and Susano. Nice. Knockout. Hey, Knockout. Hello. At Chris Mead, same. I only heard of the basic story of that game, but I feel like I'm missing a lot. I will do content on 1.0 sometime soon to make sure that anyone who wants a summary, not just a summary, but a more in detail. That's also, if you watch our summary on Binding Coil Bahamut, we talk about... I made sure to go over everything that's relevant from 1.0 in that. So anytime I do content where 1.0 knowledge is relevant, it will be a part of that video. Hell yeah, I listen to them on my commute. Awesome, Croterize. Then that makes it even more of a priority. We'll make sure to get that out. I'm going to go ahead and just do this. I'm going to go with a regular voice for Momodi, so that way I don't kill myself. Welcome. No, not that high. Welcome to the quicksand, friend. I'm a tad pitied right now. If you wouldn't mind showing yourself to... Ah, judging by a determined expression, I take it you ain't here for ale, are ye? Called Elio Forgeron by chance? Mione said you set word that you'd be reporting for duty. She also made a point of calling you the adventurer of the moment. That ain't no small praise coming from her. But you didn't come all the way here to listen to my prattle. Doubt you're eager to get started, so let's talk business, shall we? The petitioner ought to be arriving any moment now. I don't know why I'm going slightly, like, stereotypically Irish, but we're going with it. God's almighty, another second under the sun and I would have been sent a fire tankard of ale if you would... Oh, it's Papa Sean. Let's do... Oh, yeah, okay. Excellent timing, Papa Sean. It just so happens the adventurer who will be handing your petition is here. So the strapping young lad is the much-lauded adventurer, is he? Marvelous, marvelous. A pleasure to make your acquaintance, good sir. I am Papa Sean, formerly of the Sultana Sworn. I thank you for agreeing to lend us your aid. Mayhap you'd like to appraise Elio of his mission. Yes, of course. The petition in question was submitted by an acquaintance of mine at the Amagina Sons Mineral Concern. It relates to an unfortunate development at the Copperbell mines. To be plain, giants have seized control of the place. These giants are of the clan known as the Hecaton Kyries, fearsome creatures who were sealed within the deepest depths of the mines during the bygone Thorn dynasty. Alas, it seems they have managed to break through the layer of rock which served to imprison them, and now prowl the tunnels where the miners ply their trade. The creatures are justifiably angry about their treatment at the hands of our ancestors, and their presence has forced the suspension of all mining activities on the site. It's no wonder they're angry. Didn't the Thorn dynasty come to an end over 300 years ago? And if you want to know more about that, go check out our lore talk on the early history of Hydaelyn and the modern history of Hydaelyn. Actually, I think that's where we talk more about it. The people of this age used the Hecaton Kyries to work the mines by way of enchanted helms that were able to bind the ferocious creatures to their will. Known as slavery, that's called slavery, but as is oft is the way of such tales, these enchantments eventually failed, and slaves rose up against their masters. Okay, cool, at least we're calling them slaves, because that is what you were doing. In a desperate bid to contain the unbridled fury of the Hecaton Kyries, our ancestors induced the collapse of the mine's lowermost level, so it was the great giant revolt was ended, buried beneath 100,000 tons of rock. Well now, that's got me thinking. I seem to recall these being an article about Copperbells in the Mithril Eye a fortnight or so ago. It said the mines being reopened so as to meet the rise in demand for building materials. Like as not, our boys dug up a bit too deep and freed the giants. Gods, to think the poor creatures are still alive, kicking after 30 centuries. That's a long time to nurse a grudge. They must be seething. Indeed, that makes them a danger to all of us. There will be no mining at Copperbell so long as they remain. For the sake of both peace and prosperity, they must be subdued. This is the task with which we would have you undertake. I'll not deny the mission will be rife with danger, but our need is great, and so I beg of you, put an end to this sorry business. God bless ye. I feared you might have reservations, but I assured you it's for the best. Huh. In case you don't know, Copperbell mines are in western Thanalin. Do take care, you hear? Oh, and one last thing before you depart. An employee of Amagina Sons is present at the quicksands. The fellow's name of Painted Mesa, and he knows Copperbell mines well. It may behoove you to seek his counsel. With a name like Painted Mesa, we know he's a Hellsguard rogue in him. Like the Great Google Wall, I'm not a Legacy player, but it's fun to hear about. Yeah, exactly, AC. Although, like, some of that stuff is more loosely to go over, but definitely count. Oh, nice. I'm so happy that your last video is booming. More people should learn about you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, and I'm sorry I don't read Cyrillic, so I don't know how to pronounce your name. But thank you. I really, really appreciate it. It's been really wonderful. You're on my server. I noticed that. Pretty cool. Awesome, D. Yeah, I am on Crystal Zalera. Speaking of, I should really quickly go over this. Every Saturday, from roughly the same period of time that we do these live streams, we do community live streams. So if you want to do trials, grab a minion, triple triad cards, mounts, if there's anything you've wanted to do in the game that you wanted to friend to like go do it with, or just want an extra pair of hands, come on over. If you're on Crystal, we'll get together and we'll have a time of it. Also, in the future, we'll be able to do it with Primal coming up, and beyond that, my hope is to do it with other servers as well in the future, like Aether, when they allow for that. Let's talk to Painted Mesa, and as we walk to Copperbell, I'll reach the rest of the messages. Looking for Painted Mesa? You found him. Well, I don't want to do it. So you're the adventurer who volunteered to deal with the mess down in Copperbell, are you? You've got some guts, mate. I hope you got the skills to go with them, because things ain't pretty down there. The Hecaton Kyries left the place in a right state, nearly a week after mining resumed. I don't know if you know this, but the Copperbell was old when the Second Ul Dynasty was still young, and it was abandoned centuries ago. If it hadn't been for the shortage of materials needed for the rebuilding effort, the concern would have never have thought to reopen it. We know full well about the giants beforehand, but the project went ahead anyway. I mean, nothing could have possibly survived being buried under mountains worth of rock for 3 centuries, right? Wrong. Our miners dug up the more than they bargained for. One swing of the pickaxe too many, and they found themselves in a company of giants. Unless we can subdue them, the nation's glorious recovery will grind to a halt for want of aught to build with. The stone torches keep watch over the entrance in case the giants fancy some sunlight and fresh air. One of them will be able to show you the way in. The hope of the nation's resting on you, friend. Best of luck. So, for those who are unaware, when they're talking about the Second Ul Dynasty, early on in Ulda's history, when it was revealed what the Ul Dynasty had done to Sildee with the traitor's sperm, a guy named Baldur Thorn came in and went, "What the motherfucking fuck did you do?" And effectively had the Sultanate like put in, it became an interregnum. So the Thorn Dynasty went on for a couple centuries, and then his descendants eventually gave back rule over to the Sultanate once they were like, okay, we don't think you're going to do something as heinous as that again. And that has been the that's the Second Ul Dynasty, and that has been the ruling dynasty for the past 300-ish years. So in a sense, the Ul Dynasty as a bloodline has been contiguous, though its rule technically hasn't. You know Jesse Cox gives female Lalithals the heavy smoker lung with a Brooklyn accent. I did not AC, but that's good to know. Speakers Network, Fall and Rise of Final Fantasy 14, No Clips documentaries recommended. Indeed, Speakers Network in general is great for 1.0 lore. Yep, Chrissy, that is absolutely. That's the difficulty, right? Is judging whether, okay, do I bother spending time doing something when other people have done anything? That's a great resource, and I cannot recommend the No Clip documentary enough. It technically won't give you an idea of the story in the game, but the outside information it gives is just phenomenal. Also, just No Clip is phenomenal. If you've watched our video on the 80 Sins of Sasimo, you should have a good idea of why these steps are so important. But to quickly recap, there was a sultana who was falsely accused of plotting against her sister, or a princess of the sultanate who was falsely accused of plotting against her sister, who was the sultana, and was made to walk up and down the steps. And basically people lined the steps and all like laughed and jeered at her because they thought she did it, and also finally, hey, you know, we can laugh at royalty. But she was so determined that she had to walk up the steps 88 times for 88 days, and she made it almost the entire way, but then she died because it just too much for a Lalafell to walk up all those steps for that long. But the people, like, she became a symbol and an icon to the people, and they fell in love with her, and they carried her body the rest of the way up the rest of her journey so that she could rest, her soul could rest in peace. Oh, that's right, you're on Curl, aren't you? That's where I have my main. Yes, Elio is on Curl. Crystal Zalera is where my main is. Ever since Mad Because Small, I can only think of Papa Sean as having fake beard and mustache. If you're not giving most lawful deep voices, you're doing it wrong. See, I keep alternating between low and high. Oh, whoops, I went to Central. I just remember going to see Teleji at Elegy and how much I hate him. Ooh, I mean where you are now. Yeah. Oh, Curl, D. Okay, cool. Yeah. Hey Phantom, hey, how's your day been? My day has been, I've been up since around 3 a.m. and I was working on videos most of that time, and then I had to lay down for a bit. And then I came here. And I meant to get a haircut today because holy crap is my hair long. But I did not get to that because I have been exhausted. But otherwise, I'm really good. And frankly, being able to log in, play this, know I have this, and hang out with you guys is genuinely fun. And the fact that even when I'm tired, I don't feel like, oh no, I have to do this thing and I'm exhausted. I'm just like, yeah, this will be good. And then if I need to sleep, I can sleep after. It's good. It's a good time. My hope is that some of the videos come up do, I mean, if future videos do half as well, or even a third as well as this most recent video, that really bodes well for the future. And so I'm excited for that. And that's got me energized. Curl. Yep. Hey, Tracy. Ren, I will check with my partner and see if he still has some clips of screenshots of his 1.0 journey and share them if he does. Good. I have every cutscene from 1.0 saved in storage currently. But I will gladly take any more resources at all possible. What I wouldn't give to be able to run it now and be able to have 60 FPS. There are certain projects that are being run to try and create servers for basically personally hosted servers, but they're very limited in scope and how they're working. There's been an incident inside the Copperbell mines. We're here to ensure its effects are contained, but for your own safety, I suggest you stay well away from here. What? You're an adventurer who volunteered to quell the Hecaton Kyries? I didn't think Papa Sean would be able to find someone so quickly, if at all. The giants are content to wreak havoc inside the mines for now, but it's only a matter of time before they think to come outside. The sooner you see to them, the better. Make ready as best you can and enter at will. I don't think we're gonna get to Ifrit today, but I'm thinking that when we get to Ifrit, because effectively it's not a trial, but it's a 4-man trial, I will invite some of you guys to come do that with me. So if any of you guys, that might be episode 5, that might be on Thursday when we get there, depending. But if that's the case, make sure to you can make sure to let me know in chat that you want to join him. Copperbell and bosses are really different now. Right, this is the first time I've played Copperbell since the changes. Because I haven't done any of Realm Reborn at all, any of the dungeons since the changes intentionally, because I wanted to save them for this. So I'm excited. Speaking of haircuts, is Hydaelyn the only esthetician in Eorzean? Presumably not. Just the most famous and one of renown. That's just the same thing. I'm loving your streaming earlier. It's a little surreal having you on demand. Oh, Nick, I'm glad you've been enjoying it. And yeah, I'm sure the difference of going from me just recorded to me being actively doing it, I'm sure it's a little different. I'll definitely try to join for the trial. Awesome, Tillier. Also, hi, Tillier. I don't know if I said hi earlier. I don't know if he saw you earlier. Copperbell's fun now. What a world we live in. What a world. Who thought we'd see the day? Actually, that makes me think. What other, even if you haven't played Realm Reborn recently, what other changes to a Realm Reborn, in specific, would you want to improve it? And not just like broadly enhance certain pacing, but like, especially if you can articulate changes that are more than just like, oh, truncate it or rewrite a bunch of dialogue or, you know, like, I mean, a fair one, right, would be, I wish they would re-record voiceovers with the current cast and do more, and do it for many more cutscenes. Oh boy, I hope those guys teleport. I really hope those guys teleport. I'm trying to think, other than, because they a lot of dungeon fixes. Cool. A lot of dungeon fixes. Hey, I actually remember tank stance for playing this time. I'm laughing that I kept forgetting it yesterday. Here, while I sit here and AoE these fuckers, let's talk to you guys. I swear the inns have some kind of deal or partnership with the anesthetician. The esthetician. Very different. I wish they would update the voices of the current VAs. Yep, yep, Crotorized, we're on the same page. More foreshadowing about the Scions and Hydaelyn. I think there's a lot of that already, Chris. I think you could make some... I would argue that there's already a lot of that. I mean, there's some recontextualization, but that contextualization is proffered as intentionality on Hydaelyn's part. And the fact that we're not dealing with Emmett so much as we're dealing with La Habrea. I also think that they've done a lot to actively encapsulate why La Habrea was at the power level he's at, why he's acting the way he is. And I think Pandemonium is also getting at that as well. So I think the Raid series will even further help confer that. But yeah, in my mind, I think there's already a ton of that. But yeah, would I take more? Sure. I do think you run the risk, though, of making things too hyper-explicit. Like, for instance, the fact that certain reveals in Shadowbringers about the nature of Zodiark and Hydaelyn are effectively insinuated throughout, but they're left for you to figure out. And if you don't made explicit at that point, is I prefer that, where there's room to be able to guess and figure out and be curious and unsure. Make road job accessible from the beginning. Ooh, Nick, that's a really good specific one. I like that. That is a good, like, yeah. I think that's a really good one. I do that all the time with tank stance. Well, the funny thing, Tracy, is I'm a tank main. I play a tank literally 90 to 95% of the time I'm playing the game. Probably even more than that at this point. But I haven't forgotten it in like a year or 2 years maybe when I'm playing normally. But I guess I'm just hyper-focused, whereas with talking to you guys, I'm a bit distracted. Or as chat was making fun of it, the problem was that the NPCs weren't reminding me yesterday when we got in. I suppose add gemstone system to Fates and a Realm Reborn. Yes, the bicolor gemstone atelier. That is the thing me and my friend have been begging for, like thinking that there's just no reason not to. And they would also justify a lot of people retroactively going back to do a Realm Reborn stuff, which I think would make those zones feel lively for at least a period of time. But even still, even if it like there's a huge influx for a bit, on top of that, not only would there be a huge influx for a bit, more regularly would people have reason to go back there. I'm totally in favor of that. I would love a redub of voices, but it would cost a lot of resources. Absolutely, Phantom. This topic is purely assuming that we're not worried about that because it's not fair. It is not necessarily a good use of their time or budget to do so. And so, like, will they, whether or not even if they can legally do it because of what contracts might have been for the recording of Realm Reborn stuff, is unclear to me. But on top of that, it's not. If they do that, they're sacrificing those resources that could have gone towards 7.0, 6.x, all sorts of things. So I agree that the resource intensity of it is such that it may not be worth their time. That said, a Realm Reborn has less voice acting in it than like 5.x. So at least it's not, it's not like they're recording an Endwalker. I wish they would streamline the whole Grand Company Mount Squadron experience, even though it's less than it used to be. It's still very grindy. Yeah, it's still not quite. That's the thing, is Realm Reborn is much better than it used to be, but it's still not quite great. And so we can laud them for it being better, but yeah. If we started playing a tank, I forgot tank stance all the time. Yeah, sadly, that's all too common. Chris, true. Chris is telling me true, and I don't know. Oh, it's gone. We're free. Oh, the time gate is gone. I'm gonna cry. Oh, thank God. No longer must I stand on boxes. Oh, and they even made it so that they're introducing mechanics like tank busters early for people to learn. Oh, okay. You know what? That's also one thing I want them to change about Reborn is retroactively make sure that all abilities and dungeon skills and everything used by bosses are unified. So tank busters always have that symbol, so it's very clear. And it'll help teach people. And that, for me, includes more than anything, making that true for Binding Coils of Bahamut. And in addition to that, make a normal mode for Binding Coils of Bahamut, because I know technically it has a normal and a savage mode, but its normal mode is what savage is now, and its savage mode is just savage plus. So having like a normal story version of Binding Coils of Bahamut it needs to happen. That story is too important for it to be locked behind something. And you can say, well, you can unsync it, but it means that people can't play it when they're playing through A Realm Reborn, because you won't be at 90 while you're playing A Realm Reborn, so you don't have the levels to worry about. You don't, unless you have friends to go do it, but that's not everyone has friends, or not everyone, or some people are, scared to play it, or use Party Finder, or don't know about Party Finder, so it's not a good. I know that's more of a general thing, but I think the game could do with more general quality of life changes, expand the glamour dresser, or make it similar to WoW. Yeah, Corduroy's, it's not from a lack of desire on their part. There have been, like, for instance, they just added more glamour plates and they're adding more storage to it. There's just a lot of complications that come around with it and difficulties around the fundamentals of changing it. But yeah, that is something we all want, and so that's. I also think that they're constantly improving quality of life across the board, and that's been borne out. I mean, the quality of life changes we've gotten over the past 2 years alone has been insane. So, in my mind, like, general quality of life is almost less interesting than specific, because we are actually getting them. Whereas articulating and desiring something more specific is more of an interesting discussion. But I am with you. Let's catch up on the rest of you. Also, rework Hunt Log to give out tier rewards for earlier Realm Reborn sprouts to have something else to work on while they go through MSQ. Yep, I think that's a good idea, Tillier. I think the difficulty is also making it useful to do. Well, XP is useful, but more useful to do at the same time. Not making it so important that it must be done is a tricky balance. Not a tank main. Yeah, where you collect one piece of glam and it's saved without needing to have the item. Yeah, already went over why that's more difficult for them. But yes, I want that 100%. Another thing for me that would be general is I want die channels rather than just a single die applied to a thing. I mean, Guild Wars 2 will always be my gold standard for that. No game has reached that level of oh, and even the powder chambers have changed. No game has reached the the quality of dies as Guild Wars 2. Speaking of hunts, remove the AR ones tied to fates. Yeah. Or at the very least, make more reason to do AR fates with bicolored gemstones. Boom. Oh, hey JT, hello. Always wondered, what is your main job? Currently, it's Paladin. When I first started, it was mainly Warrior, up until I finished A Realm Reborn, and then it became Dark Knight immediately as I got to Heaven's Word. It was that up until about 5.55. After I finished 5.55, as we got about 3 months out from Endwalker, I picked up Paladin, partly because of it being the poster boy for Endwalker, but also because I had played a lot of Paladin as well. I just wasn't maining it. And I had this gut feeling that Dark Knight, because it had gotten so much love from Shadowbringers, was going to be in a weird place for balance once we got to Endwalker. Like something was just going to be wonky with it, and I was right. So luckily I was prepared for that. But I am adoring Paladin. Maining Paladin in Endwalker has been my favorite experience playing the game thus far. I adored playing Dark Knight during Shadowbringers, especially because it had the Blackest Night. Because I loved having something that was timing based and like an execution based thing for a tank. But because Holy Sheltron does that now for Paladin, I still have that on Paladin. I get the benefit of that timing execution thing while simultaneously having the static part of the Paladin's rotation is very like fixed, and executing on that is precise, but then there's also so much room to play with the Paladin's abilities, things like clemency if you need to use it for others, or like I've played healer when one of our healers went down in trials or in dungeons multiple times. Revamp the Grand Company rank system and rewards. Yep. I think they're already trying to tweak it, but they didn't need to revamp it. On the back of that fake comment, rework the Adama Reborn hunt system to match the later versions. Yeah, I think... Well, wait, the hunt system? Because, I mean, the hunts are the same. There's just different rewards. But, I mean, so are you saying that to just give all hunts the same rewards? Because I think there's something to be said about having them have different rewards, because then there's reason to go do that. Otherwise, why not just always do the Shadowbringers or Stormblood or you know, I think that helps justify doing it, because the only reason to do them otherwise if you do all hunts. Cut the Crystal Tower from Alliance Raid? Nope. Nope. Ren, I don't know if you just haven't gotten to 5.3. They cannot. They 100% will not and cannot cut it, and it needs to be played, and its story is fundamental. Frankly, its story is fundamental to Shadowbringers. Shadowbringers barely works without it if you haven't played Crystal Tower. Like, it really barely works. But 5.3 literally cannot work. From Alliance Raid to regular one available with the trust system. Yeah, the trust system becomes difficult because having 24 AI is a lot more complicated than having 8. Since they're mandatory, I saw the past few days, you're at the mercy of others. Yeah, and Ren, the thing is that I think the problem there is not to do that. I think what you need to do instead is just make sure that if someone tries to do it on their first go around, make it so it pulls from everyone on the server as a whole. So like, it should have pulled from all of Crystal rather than just from Mateus. Like, that was the problem. But I think there's a lot of problems that come along with doing a 24-man for Alliance Raid. I mean, first, we need 8-man for every trial first, and that's already complicated as all hell. But doing, making sure you have 24 people who can all do the mechanics correctly, especially with the complications and the way that it's all split up for Crystal Tower is very different than doing a dungeon or a trial. But I do agree that they need to fix your experience should not happen. Just no question. Yep, cool. Wow, this is nice. Hey, Richer, I assume you're meaning this stream? Hopefully. In which case, good, I'm glad. Yep, they're introducing early mechanics that'll be used later on. Yep, we talked about that. Yes, it helped me to learn tank. Awesome, D. That is exactly why they need to introduce it earlier. I have to say that the stack tank busters was interesting to learn mid-battle. Role-specific markers do seem like cool addition in combat. They can work with harder dungeons. Yeah, I mean, the thing is that all those become fundamentally standard in Shadowbringers onward. I mean, they do before that, really, but especially, like in Stormblood, and somewhat in Heavensward, but especially if you're doing high-level content, you must understand all the universal mechanics. And even not high-level content, even like later Alliance raids and trials, like it is required that you understand them. So the fact they just need to be taught earlier when there's lower stress to it. Yeah, I would say nerf regular coils, sync so it's the same difficulty. Yeah, I think that there are issues that go along with that, especially because the Savage is so wonky already. I think what the better solution is to just create a full normal set. Because the thing is that there's already the complexity level of the mechanics and insta-kills that are tied to those mechanics that you fundamentally have to rework them anyways to make them normal. Because, I mean, usually what normal is, it's not just, like, difficulty in terms of stats for normal versus savage. It's also the amount of mechanics. What's your least favorite job? My personal least favorite job to play is Bard. And that is... I have not given it a ton of time, but I don't... It's not my style. I mean, I don't like DPS in general for most jobs. But Bard is probably my least favorite. Let me think. Melee DPS. Dragoon. I like doing Mudras with Ninja, so like Dragoon, Monk, love all that. Reaper I love playing. Reaper's probably my favorite melee DPS. Range DPS, I really enjoy Dancer. Machinist, I can really appreciate. Casters, I enjoy Red Mage. I don't love Black Mage, but if I spent the time to really get into Black Mage, I could love Black Mage. Because I appreciated class that rewards you for preemptively knowing a lot and knowing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. And then Summoner, I love Summoner. So, yeah, it's got to be Bard. And Bard is my... Slave no more, free. That is not a diss on Bard. That is a taste thing. That is not a Bard having a problem. The game has 19 freaking classes, I think, right? Other than Blue Mage, 19 freaking job classes. it's good with all distinct identities. It's good that I have a least favorite. It's good that they're distinctive enough that I feel differently. Never again. Never again. Oh, interesting. Now the door that they broke through from the deeper parts of the mind is further back, and there's the ring around it. Can I? No, I can't. Okay. What's your least favorite job? Got to that. What's your favorite job lore-wise? Ooh, favorite job lore-wise. Favorite job, well, story-wise, there's just no question the Dark Knight's the best story. Just hands down, it has the best. Lore-wise, maybe Nim, maybe Scholar because of what it ends up doing with Nim. I mean, Dark Knight still probably, but especially things like the Scholar because of how much it ties into the history of Nim, its own lore, and what's going on with it. Let's think. Actually, can I just pop it open? No, I don't. Yes, okay. So let's walk through them. We got Warrior. Warrior's not that super interesting. We got Dark Knight. Fucking amazing. Paladin. The Sultan's War and the idea of the story might not be that great, but the idea behind them is kind of interesting. So I'd say that Paladin's probably Gunbreaker. I care about the history behind it, but there's not a ton there. Monk, super cool, and Alamigo, tied to the history of Alamigo and that. Monk has a lot of depth. It is not necessarily my favorite. Dragoon, I like, again, not necessarily my favorite. Ninja, again, like, not necessarily my favorite. Sam, pretty good, but not a whole lot of, like, deep lore. It's just a pretty decent story. Reaper, I really like Reaper. I really love Reaper's lore. How it deals with both the Void, Locus Amenos, and the Garleans and all that. Bard is good. Again, not my favorite. Machinist. I really like the story of the Machinist, the idea of the up and coming future, but it's not favorite lore. Dancer, again, good lore, not my favorite. Black Mage. The stories aren't very great, but the Shantoto stuff is pretty decent. And the lore around it's pretty okay, dealing with Mach. Summoner is good lore, especially what we learn of Alag. It's got good lore. So it's up there, top half, not bottom half. Red Mage has really good lore, especially the way it ties into the legacy of Mach and Amdapor and White Magic and Black Magic, so definitely up there. Scholar, I already lauded. Scholar's really good. White Mage is really good in its lore. Its stories aren't that great. They're fine. There's some good ones, but they're not always great. Astrologian has a lot of great lore if you add in the lore, the way it ties in with Geomancy. Sage has decent lore, but we don't know enough about it for it to have a ton of depth. Blue Mage lore is great because it's a lot of what we know about the Wallachui and the New World as a whole comes from that. But yeah, I definitely think, yeah. It depends too. Are you talking, because if you're talking about lore, do you mean story or do you mean the lore? Because those to me are two very different conversations. Let's catch up on chat real quick. Giant Green Slime is looking a little sloppy. I'm a Dark Reaper player. I swear I'm not an edgelord. No, I get it. Reaper's my favorite melee DPS by far, and I mained Dark Knight. I totally get it, JT. ARR hunts, the daily hunts are tied to fates, which spawn terribly. I don't think, not all the ARR hunts are. Are they? Or am I thinking of like the... I'll take your word for it, Nick, but like I thought there were quite a few that aren't. But if they are, then Nick, yeah, that should be changed. Crystal Tower just needs some renewing touch. Yeah, I think, if anything, the main thing for Crystal Tower for me is making sure universal mechanics are labeled as such, but I don't think the fundamental combat there needs to be changed that much. I think there's still enough there that teaches and is decent. What's up, Vanilla? Oh, we doing that now, Serene? Just because I like vanilla flavor does not mean I'm fully vanilla in every aspect. Or do I have to tell all my multiple partners that? I said it. What? How dare you not like Bard? Oh, good. Good. You want to come in? You want to call me shit? I'm going to call out your class. What do you want? Or call out your job. What do you want now? Huh? Nothing better than playing Baby Shark in the middle of Loomsa at 3 a.m. the both love and curse that is the Bard is yet another reason to... Bard's ability to play music is yet another reason to love and hate it. I'm so bad at mudras, I gave up on Ninja after seeing that bunny too many times. So because I have it on my mouse where I can press left scroll, right scroll, mid scroll to do all of my mudras, it's very easy to do them in quick succession and it's pretty fun. Ninja's one of the classes I haven't spent enough time with to be good at, but I enjoy it enough that It's, oh, I keep getting free company requests, which I'm not going to accept because I am going to create a free company for Elio when I can on this server for people. And if you would like to join that free company, either to do stuff with Elio when I'm online or after I finish level, playing the MSQ with him, or just to know when I'm on, I will do that. So feel free to join in if you have a character on Crystal. Other than the Blue Mage, oof, my heart. They should make it so when you hit Stormblood, you know everything you need to know to play the game. Yep, I fully agree, JT. There's just no question. And I think they're working towards that. I think they are improving things consistently. I don't think they're quite there yet, but they're not done. So it's not like they've been like, we've got Realm Reborn where we want it. We've got Heaven's Word and Realm Reborn where we want it. So I think my favorite job is Warrior, but that's mostly because of Curious Gorge. He's my favorite class trainer. Yeah, I appreciate Curious Gorge and all of that, especially because of how much it gives us about the Hell's Guard. But it's of the tanks, it's probably, if it wasn't that Gunbreaker had so little because of how few quests it has, ultimately I think Warrior would probably be my least favorite tank, lore story-wise. But that's saying least favorite because of lowest on the rank, because I love Paladin and Dark Knight so much, and not because it's bad. It's great. I think we have stupid auto type on my phone. I meant Gorge, not George. Yeah. Paladin story, Skull and Crossbones. I don't know if you mean that because you don't like it, but it's not the best, but it's fine. Yeah, you're simply the Scholar Quest. I love my little green boys. Yeah, the Scholar Quest is, the Scholar story and lore is one of the best ones. It might even be my number 2. It's definitely in my top 5, no question. Rogue is my favorite. The Rogue quest is really well written. Notably, written by Ishikawa, same person who wrote Dark Knight, Shadowbringers, and Endwalker, which is kind of telling. I meant lore-wise, the story greatly varies between jobs, as you said. Yep, exactly, Crotorize. But by hunts, I'm referring to the Allied Seal hunts, not the hunting log, if that wasn't clear. Oh, I was meaning the Allied Seal hunts, so we're on the same page. I think I always come across them without having done the fates, so I guess I just somehow managed to not know. Oh, he says in, talking about Jruntia being best boy, which he constantly does. If you want to make Issa mad, just laud any other Mikote other than Jruntia. Ah, the Conqueror of Copperbell returns. Thanks to you, our mining operations can resume, and Ul'dah will have the materials she needs to rebuild. The entire nation's in your debt, friend. I'll share the good titans with Papashan the next time I see him. As for you, you'll want to report to Momodi. It'll do the woman well to see you alive and in one piece. Are we getting voice acting? Hey, we're getting voice acting. Oh, no, actually, we don't. I don't think we get voice acting. We just get that sound effects. Shut your mouth, see? You thieving swine. You stole from me. Don't even you think to deny it. Please, sir. I didn't steal nothing. I bought this and paid with me own coin. What rot? You refugees are all the same. Couldn't afford maggoty mole meat with much less a choice a cut of dodo. Oh, she's a refugee. Well, no, she could be a refugee from Calamity. She's not necessarily Alamegan. I'm going to say it one more time. Give back what you stole, see? Or I'll make you wish you had never set foot in this town. By rights, I should turn you into the brass blades. You know, help keep the streets safe for law-abiding citizens. But I'm a reasonable man. If you agree to serve me in whatever capacity I require, the authorities needn't hear of your crimes. But I ain't done nothing wrong. 12 is me witness. That lawful just turned around, just straight, was like, nope. Please, adventure, help me, I beg of ye. I swear on my mother's grave, I didn't steal nothing. I bought this with the coin I saved. I wanted to treat me children to a decent meal. That fucking... And who's the hell's like you? Where you're at home, the dog's master? I've had enough of this mama's farce. You lot, teach him a lesson. Not any other Miko, just any other male Miko. Yeah, see? Yeah. I didn't know what to go with, and he looks like an asshole, so I went with that. My favorite job is the machinist, but that's mostly an aesthetics thing. I always loved Tinker classes. Main reason for my friend convinced me to try 14. Totally understandable. I totally get it. And I love the machinist story. Oh, right. I forgot they made this stacks. That's so nice. Oh, man. I wasn't ready to burp for that. Oh, well. Not bad for an adventurer. Lol, you need to be a voice actor, Elio. Thanks, Ren. I'm not doing great, but I'm trying to come up with this stuff off the cuff. I promise I'll try to practice an Alamegan accent, so by the time we really get to that, I'll be ready. I could use my tanking abilities, but it doesn't seem to matter. Elio sounds like a side quest teenager NPC who needs you to find his dad, not a burn, but I feel I hear about it anyways. Sarene, must you always troll? And are you saying my regular voice or the same voice? This move is secure is so goofy. Yeah, well, it's supposed to be that like cavalcade of actions going around, but for the situation, it's maybe not the perfect one. I ain't get paid enough for this. Hey, where they going? How's you think you're going? I mean, he's also called the obnoxious merchant, so voice is somewhat apt. Thank you, kind adventure. Thank you thrice over. Echo time. You just have to talk like a footballer, right? Is it kind of like a Manchester accent? Am I crazy? I feel it's someone who lives in the UK can correct me or tell me what it sounds like. I swear there was more refugees than when I last looked. And you wouldn't be mistaken. But it's been 5 years since the calamity. Why are you the only one? Why are they the only coming here now? It's simple, really. While a number of hamlets survived the immediate aftermath of the calamity, many were no longer able to support their communities. The residents found their lands had either been rendered barren or cut off from trade routes, and problems like those aren't easily solved. Though they tried to make the best of it, it was only a matter of time before they were forced to abandon their homes and seek a new life in the city. I see. But the calamity affected the whole realm, didn't it? It's the same thing happening in the other cities. If the talk is true, yes. Though perhaps our situation is more pronounced in Ul'dah. Ul'dah has a reputation for being prosperous, so it's natural that the refugees would try their luck here first. It's also one of the major crossroads. My heart goes out to them, it truly does. But I would be lying if I said that I wasn't apprehensive. I hope their presence doesn't foment lawlessness in the city. Well, if things do take a turn for the worse, we always have the immortal flames. I dare say the brass blades would welcome their help. The heroes who fought the Garlean Empire, patrolling the streets for riffraff? It may well come to that. Impoverished and desperate as they are, you may be sure that some of the refugees will turn to crime. You know what this place is like. If you've no coin, you've no hope. What will become of our city? Not all refugees are bad, mind you. Some are able to find employment and lead honest lives. Dodo tenderloin, get your dodo tenderloin here, guaranteed cheapest in Thanalin. Thank you for your coin, customer madam. Please come again. Look around. You think Ul'dah was well on its way to recovery. But peer through the veil of prosperity and you'll see no end to the misery and suffering. North Yorkshire. I think that's Stark's. Yeah. That's what I was trying to remember. Thank you, Issa. Oh, get a voice changer program and use an echo effect when you're voicing scenes from the echo. That's not a bad idea. I'll try to set that up, Ren. Another question. Which one of the Eorzean city-states is your favorite, including Ishgard? Well, if we include the 6 that were intended to be in 1 point... What now? You mean to threaten a defenseless citizen? What? Sir? Buy the meats, you say? That's absurd. As I did I. Leave the poor woman alone, you damnable vulture. Who said that? Actually, I think it's Thancred, isn't it? Because it's whoever you've seen, whoever you met. No, it's going to be Y'shtola. Because we started in Limsa. Ugh, I'll overlook this, but just this once. Gridania is my least favorite of the three startings. God bless ye, adventurer. If you hadn't come along when you did, who knows what the monster might have done. It don't bear thinking about. My personal favorite of the 3 is Ul'dah. Of this, originally in 1.0, they intended for Alamigo, Ishgard, and Sharlayan all to be available as starting cities as well. So of those 6, my choice is Sharlayan. Ever the selfless hero, I see. It's been a while, adventurer. I've been watching you closely ever since you flew out to Limsa Laminsa. You've discharged your duty as Admiral's personal envoy with admiral humility, and you've displayed unflattering courage in the face of danger ever since. Whenever so you came upon those in need, you gave them succor with no thought of personal gain. In summary, you have demonstrated all the qualities we seek in an adventurer. For reasons I cannot well explain, your every deed seems invariably to serve the great general good. Whether you mean it or not, it is a happy knack, and one which speaks volume for your character. Yet for all your admirable qualities, it is your gift which intrigues me most. I speak of the visions you experience, visions like the ones you had mere moments ago, if I am not mistaken. I can provide you with the means to understand them. An acquaintance of mine is blessed with the selfsame talent, you see. If you so desire, I can introduce you to her. She and I fight for a common cause, a cause which would greatly benefit for your support. If you would agree to lend us your strength, we should be glad to do all within our power to aid you in your personal endeavors. Think on my offer a while. Should you decide to accept it, pray speak with Momodi, and pray speak to the bride of the Waking Sands, the proprietress of the Quicksands, and a close friend and ally of ours. Inform her that you have been chosen by the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, and she will tell you where to find us. Limsa was always my favorite, but I really love the pirate life. Yeah, someone asked last time which I would live in, and I chose Limsa because just a bunch of different reasons, with Ul'dah close behind. But in terms of favorite, like, lore and world and, like, starting-wise, it's Ul'dah of the 3. Ishgard gets weird because, like, Ishgard has all the benefit of being, like, an entire expansion for one city-state, which means it's much grander in scope and scale. But yeah. Gridania. The correct answer is Gridania. It may be for you, it ain't for me. You know, the place is filled with bugs. I can't decide between Ishgard and Limsa. Yeah. Oh, and an ARR change, I would love to be a better reward system for the sightseeing log. Yes, and change the sightseeing log to the same system that exists in Heavenward's On, because the system that exists currently sucks. My fave, in A Realm Reborn specifically. My fave is Limsa, including Ishgard's obvious, although by that 1.0, I might go Alamigo. Yeah. Okay, first it's Bards, and now you're taking shots at Gridania. No more milkshakes! Don't lie, Sarian. You're still gonna put a random amount of money in the chat and then make me do something weird with it. We know you. I'm telling y'all I don't torque off the healers. But how is it he to bringeth yonder lads to his yard? Yay, for the first prey run to the Waking Sands. You can have his milkshake. I would love to live in Radazat Han. Yeah, Radazat Han's pretty cool. It's not super my speed, but it'd definitely be really cool to visit. Scenes like this are becoming ever more common. I'm afraid. Don't worry though. If you work hard, you'll probably be all right. Say that. If you ever find yourself in a spot of bother, come and see me. Just go pestering me every time you gaze your knee, eh? Of course, I do enjoy hearing tell of a gentleman's woe with the womenfolk from time to time. Ah, Elio, sorry to keep you waiting. I was just providing guidance to a fresh off the carriage adventurer. But gods, it's good to see you safe and well. To look at you, no one would ever guess you'd been hard at it with the giants in the dark. If every elm of the adventure Mione said you'd be, Elio, the station master will be overjoyed when he hears the news. Oh, before I forget, there's a lass here who wants a word with you. Didn't actually know your name, but hearing her description, I knew who she meant right away. Oh. Thank you for sparing the time. I realize you don't know me, but I've been longing to speak with you for a while now. My name is Ada. I'm an adventurer like you, though I'm not very good at being one, if truth be told. Anyways, I was adventuring with my friends in Gridania I'm sorry. We were in Gridania when the leader of our party was killed. His name was Avere, and he and I were to be wed in the spring. You may not remember him, but to say that he remembered you would be an understatement. He would sing your praises from dawn to dusk. He saw you for what you are, you see, an adventurer's adventurer, and swore that he would be like you one day. I believe that he would have succeeded had a fiend not robbed him of a chance. Since that day, I have thought long and hard about giving up adventuring. But when I think of the man you are, of all that you've achieved, I find that I'm inspired, just as Zavere was once. And so, I've decided to start again as an adventurer. I'll go back to the village of my birth and begin my training anew. But I wanted to meet you first, to ask you your name. It's Elio. Elio Forcheron. Elio Forcheron, I shan't forget it. Thank you, Elio Forcheron. I pray that we'll meet again. Fare you well. Adventuring can be cruel bleeding business. Time was I didn't know why anyone would bother. When they first asked me to take charge of the guild here, I didn't want aught to do with it, you lot. Thought it'd be right pain in the arse looking after you all. But against my better judgment, I decided to accept the post, and I'm full glad I did. I feel privileged to be a part of your lives. And that goes double for yours, Elio. Eh? What did he say? You want to know about the Scions of the Seventh Dawn? They're beginning to move in earnest, then. Listen, Elio, the Scions ain't no ordinary folk, and the work they do ain't no ordinary work. I know well how capable you are, but even you would think twice about attempting some of the stuff they do. Knowing that, if you're still certain you want to get involved, I'll tell you what I can. Let's catch up. Oh, Sarine, what are you doing? Fine, small milkshake for you. I wonder if 2 euros would get me a small milkshake here. I bet it would. I would love to live in Razahan. By the way, thank you, Sarine. I really appreciate it, and I will spend that on milkshakes. But I will also try to save all money put here towards equipment and stuff for the channel. Given what we know about Mirror City, what cultures are we expecting it to be based on? Australia, maybe Aboriginal, and I would guess something probably North Africa primarily, though Africa broadly, potentially. I wouldn't be surprised if Africa, there's some Africa throughout Eorzea and the three great continents, as well as possibly a little bit in the New World as well. But I wouldn't be surprised a combination of Australia and Africa, and especially North Africa. Oh no, Ada. Not Ada. 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 Australia. Ada. Australia. Everyone's crying. Seven Hells, this whole side stuff with Ada is so dark, and it's only going to get darker. I really like Ada's story. Yep. In a certain way, that discussion with Ada motivates us to join the Scions. Yep. And then also it's very important because it ends up setting up for Tamtara hard. How about you level a Bard and we're even? I will do a stream at some point where I level Bard. That fair? And I'm also going to do the Bard video sooner rather than later. It's a shame, too, since this scene with Ada made you think she's going to turn out all right. Yeah. Dude, if there's one thing I can tell you, however dark you think, like, the MSQ gets, the side stories are darker, and the subtextual side stories that you can find in, like, word bubbles and stuff around the world are even darker. There's a lot of, like, it gets real dark. Australia. So you want... Also, Sarian, thank you for the 2 euros because, silly enough, my metric, one of my metrics of success right now is, like, trying to make sure I get at least $1 or $2 per live stream from Super Chats. So thank you for helping make sure that happens. So you wanted to know more... So you wanted to know more then, do you? Well, ain't that a surprise? I swear if I painted certain death on one door and limitless wealth on the another, 9 out of 10 adventurers would go through the first, and the other bloke wouldn't be able to choose on account of being in Nul Dawn. Anyways, don't say I didn't warn you. First of all, if you're wondering whether you can trust these Scions of the Seventh Dawn, you can. They're good people who have made it their mission to solve some of Eorzea's most pressing problems. Of course, that ain't no small task, and so they're always looking for dependable individuals to join them. Individuals like you, Elio. Now, I've been given leave to tell you where to find the Scions, but you must keep promise to keep this information to yourself. As you can probably imagine, it's something Eorzean enemies would very much like to know. The Scions headquartered in the Vesper Bay, out in western Hydaelyn. The place you're looking for is called the Waken Sands. Give your name to whoever at the entrance, and you'll be let in. You're man in demand, Elio, and the days ahead promise to be busy. but I hope you won't forget about them as helped make you into an adventurer you are. Drop in and tell them how you're faring from time to time, you hear? Right. Well, I've said my piece. Off you go. I will live in your Discord server where I can't when I can't afford rent anymore for all these super chats. Well, it's deeply, deeply appreciated, Serene. And sorry to be self-promoty and all that stuff, but I would like to keep growing the channel, so I'm going to be. You know, if you guys want to prevent Serene from being homeless, you guys can always, some of you guys can band together and, you know, do a super chatter now and then. That said, I've already made far more from super chats in the past 4 episodes than I ever could have hoped for or imagined. So thank you for all that regardless. And for watching, even if you just watch, that also gives resources. If you watch this content, if you watch our other content, commenting, liking, subscribing. I guess subscribing technically doesn't really give us as much resources, but liking and commenting tends to help with the algorithm, and watching obviously does. So thank you very, very much, and I appreciate it. Oh, I keep going to press my shortcuts for mount, and I don't have that yet. That's one thing I love about the Final Fantasy XIV world. Even though it's over-the-top anime, which is good, its world is very mature and well-crafted and so deep. I agree, Corterize, on the back half. I will personally say I do not think it is very anime. I think it has moments where it goes full anime, like with the G-Warrior. But I very much don't think its story is very anime in a lot of the traditional, any of the tropes or conventions that are standard for things like shonen, seinen. I think they're pretty rare and far between when it does go very anime. I think you have things like water, water, froth and foam, or G-Warrior, or some things like that are, you know, or you could maybe even a lot of Hildebrand. I think it's there. I just, as someone who actually really hates when things go full anime, generally, and as someone who enjoys anime but really doesn't like when anime is maybe too much anime, not in all cases. Like certain anime can pull it off, but usually I find it to be a less of a boon and more of a detractor. I would personally not describe it that way. However, the definitions for that can vary. So it may be that our definitions are actually similar in spirit, even if not in word. I wish we got gift memberships. Well, actually, they just added gift memberships to YouTube. They just added that, so that's coming in. As well as, we actually have memberships, I think we have it set up, I may have not made it active. Currently, the only thing we have active for memberships, though, is old community live streams are the only thing that are labeled under membership. So if you do become a member of our YouTube channel, it will allow you to be granted access to all of our past community live streams. And maybe I'll make content specifically for that in the future. I don't want to cut too much off from regular viewers, so probably not a ton. But it would go a long way to help support us. If I haven't activated it yet, I'll make sure to get that going. There will be icons saying you're a member if you are in chat for live streams, and on top of that, you'll get access to special emotes. I wish I'll make sure you also get a Discord title for it. The one thing I can't do currently is if you are a YouTube member, I can't give you a Patreon associated with that. And currently, if you're a Patreon member, trying to give you manually a YouTube membership is a little weird. So I'm trying to figure that out at the moment, because I don't want to make people have to pay twice, because they're already paying. That's already, you know, really kind and lovely. Fair, I guess it's more of an aesthetic thing. I don't think it's very aesthetically anime. I think the conventions around, I think a lot of it's very inspired by Western European, especially in Eorzean imagery. I don't think the abilities, I think you could say that things like Gaius maybe because of its overwrought detail, but even that's rooted in things that are more classic Final Fantasy convention. I think if you want to argue that it's rooted in a lot of JRPG aestheticism, I wouldn't necessarily disagree, but I do think that there's a fundamental difference between like anime JRPG, broad JRPG historical aestheticism from like things like Final Fantasy, classical Final Fantasies, and, you know, 14. But that I just have a strong opinion on that. Don't think I'm being like, no, you're wrong. That is my personal take on that. Final Fantasy 14 pulled me in so well. I never got into WoW like my friends because it just didn't seem to have a cohesive story. That's, as someone who did play a lot of WoW, is that WoW, Warcraft had cohesive stories, and World of Warcraft onto certain points had cohesive stories in a certain extent, but it was never really focused or worried about that. It was always about its vignettes and its smaller stories and its world as a whole and its lore to almost a world builder's disease issue. WoW had a lot of strengths and has a lot of strength in its storytelling, but every time it tries to be both what 14 does and itself, it doesn't seem to work very well because it was never really structured that way. And so it suffers from it. Yeah. And then not to dunk on WoW, but yeah, I had the same issue, though there are a lot of things I did appreciate about WoW in the past. Final Fantasy 14 has such rich lore. It really does. It's just phenomenal. Not sure if you answered this before, but what's your favorite zone music-wise? I would have to go expansion by expansion because there's different moods, very different moods. In Endwalker, I'm not going to do Zone 6 because Zone 6 is just cheating. Zone 6 is so good. So with the other 5 zones, it's probably Mare. I love Mare Lamentorum's theme so freaking much. In Shadowbringers, it's Amarang. In Stormblood, it's probably the Lock. The Lock's probably my favorite. I'm thinking about Ruby Sea. I'm thinking about Yanxia. I'm thinking about the Steppe. I really do like the Steppe. Probably the Locks, though. In Heaven's Word, it's not Aziz's Law. Might be Kurthis Western Highlands. I'd have to sit down and really think about it. I mean, this is it's not the map zone music, but I really love the mount music that originally came from the generic general mount music. I really love that. But I'd probably maybe say Kurthis Western Highlands. For A Realm Reborn. It might be, I don't know that this is for sure but it might be the Burning Wall. We'll go over there in a little bit and we'll listen to it and see. Let me catch up on the chat real quick before I continue. Fair, I guess, is more of a static thing. Yeah, I talked about that. I mean, is Gaius is his lackey. Yes, I meant gift for memberships for us. Yeah. Have you unlocked mounts? Not yet. We have to get further in this story. Meme content. Good example. FF versus Dragon Q. Dragon Quest is absolutely anime. Yeah, I mean, it's literally Toriyama, right? It's like totally Toriyama's art style. So DQ is definitely anime. Syrian, without a doubt, Thavnair. It's okay. It's not a point of contention for me. I still love it, whether it's anime or JRPG or both or whatever. I'm not I'm not literate in the stuff. Yeah, this is favorite Primal song. Oh fuck, I'd have to think about that as well. Kurthis Central Highlands. Oh right, Kurthis Central Highlands are in A Realm Reborn as well. I don't know if those are my favorite. Might be. Ooh, Ravana, Rise. Yeah, I would also have to go expansion by expansion for Primal, but we'll talk about that in a sec. Okay, wait. Are we doing deep voice? Are we going high because there's going to be voice acting? And also, besides, I think like people like Preach have already done deep voice for Smoker voice for Tataru. Or are we just going regular for Tataru, like cute for Tataru? You guys have to decide. I'm going to sit here for a second, and I'm going to think about Primals in the meantime. For AR, it's obviously Garuda. For Heaven's Word, it's probably Ravana. Although I really like Bismarck. And I like Thordan too. I like all 3 of them. Fuck. But for A Realm Reborn, I really like Oblivion. But part of the reason I like Oblivion is because I love Return to Oblivion so much, so I don't know. Yeah, I'd probably still go with Garuda. Probably Ravana for Heaven's Word. For Stormblood, it's Shinryu. Well, no, okay, we're including patch content, then it's Tsukuyomi, just no question. If we go with Shadowbringers, it is, let me think. Well, you don't actually fight Primals during... You don't fight any Primals, so we can just skip Shadowbringers. And then an Endwalker, I can't mention who it is because that would be a major spoiler. Long Fall. Yep. I love Longfall. It's great. Deep, middle-aged waitress from Wisconsin. It's funny because I actually was born and I like lived a lot of my life in Wisconsin, so I feel like I would just do my normal voice but womanly. Bring out your inner Marge sisters. So smoking. Okay, my favorite zone is music. The whole game is Ravania Hinterlands, nighttime. Great theme. Tataru needs a badass voice. Shiva with Oblivion. Yep. I have a weird fixation for Snowcloak. If we're talking about dungeon music, Snowcloak is my favorite. Snowcloak's music is one of my favorite musics in the game. So like, it's not favorite, but it's up there. Look at Tataru now. That smile, that damn smile. To the edge. Okay, now we're just mentioning all the music for all the trials. Also, that's not a primal necessarily, so that's why I'm not. Shadowbringers, you don't fight primals for any of the trials, so that's why I'm not mentioning those. Okay, we're gonna test them. So there's deep in the desert of my heart, a lonely flower blooms, versus I'll do a more Minnesota, like do it kind of nasally. Deep in the desert of my heart, a lonely flower blooms. Those are your options. Go pick now or forever hold your peace. For dungeons, we're doing ARR. My favorite is Snowcloak. For Heaven's Word, I don't know that I have a Heaven's Word favorite yet. We'll have to figure that out when we get there. For Stormblood, it is The Burn. For Shadowbringers, Longfall, probably. For Endwalker, it's the Dead Ends, no question. Hi Nicole, why is it Irish? Because I keep switching between all sorts of different accents while voicing this, so it like falls out. Nasal, please. Okay, Comey, let's do something different. Snowcloak's probably in my top 5 period. Technically, there's a primal in 5.3. That's not a primal AC. No, he's drawing faith to him, so that's a primal form. I guess that is potentially a primal form. It's not designated as such, and the thing is that, well, we're not going to talk about that, but there could be some contention around that. But I think maybe that is fair. Based on his creation and how it exists, it is functionally a primal. Deep. Okay, second option. 2. Also, hello lurker here, but loving the streams though. Awesome, Komeda. Lovely to have you. Thanks for putting nasal. Okay, we're doing. No, we're making Gaius sound like Mr. Krabs because. Yeah, we're doing Gaius, Mr. Krabs. Okay. Deep in the... Deep... Okay, let's try not to make it Irish. So, deep... Oh, don't you know. Deep in the desert of my heart, a lonely flower blooms. I'll get it in a second. Just give me some time. I'm just switching all over the place. Yearning... Don't you know. Yearning for a heaven above. Quench my thirst for you. Troll-la-la-la-la-la-la. I'll get it. Just give me some time. Oh, you're the warrior of light, aren't you? I would thank you to not sneak up on me like that. Now, please be advised, this is private property. Unless you have pertinent business here, I must ask you to... Yo, I was invited. Here, at the behest of Y'shtola? My sincerest apologies. May I have your name? Why am I losing it? I think it's because it's too close to what I'm like used to, like being normal. Like it's not like it's hard to like emphasize it. Elio Forgeron. Elio Forgeron. Ah, here you are. I bid you welcome to the Waking Sands, headquarters of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. My name is Tataru, and I look forward to assisting you during your time with us. The antecedent is within the solar. I shall let you know to expect you. Making Tataru sound both like Mr. Krabs because both like money. Great argument. However, we're going to save that for Gaius because it already sounds like Clancy. Money. Nasally. Look, my voice is naturally already pretty nasally. Regarding zone music and ARR, Range Catcher's Gully is a great one. Yep, Bo, I totally agree. Range Catcher's Gully is one of my favorite ARR themes too. It's really, really good. And it's so specific to a certain zone that it's almost sad that it's so missable. Lady Minfilia has eagerly awaited your coming. This way, if you please. Kind of hard to pick a favorite trial in zone music. Yeah, there's just a lot. If you can go expansion... Oh, here we go.
Friend. My name is Minfilia,
Well met.
And I lead the Scions of the Seventh Dawn.
Well met, friend. My name is Menphelia, and I lead the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. I can only speak in a monotone. I'm not fully convinced that this voice actress wasn't in fact an AI programmed to do this voice. And I'm not sure if it's her fault. It likely could have been the director's or time constraints. Either way, welcome. Come. I've heard of your coming. Damn it, I exited out of it. Ray, can you get rid of that?
Please, be at ease.
Here, I got it.
You are among friends here. No doubt you are ripe to burst with questions. But have patience. All will be revealed in time.
To be fair, once you get bots, you know you've made it.
Telling you who we are and what we do. We are the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, an order that transcends political boundaries. Our single objective is the preservation of the future of Eorzean. Among our gravest concerns are the godlike beings known as the Primals. Their existence is a bane upon Eorzean, nay, the world at large, and we have striven to find a lasting solution to the threat they pose.
Do you guys want me to get rid of to do cutscenes like this? Because this is how I usually do it, and I guess since you can hear it anyways, there's not a big need for the text. Let me know if you guys prefer that.
Our order is home to a number of individuals who, like you, possess a rare and special talent. This talent takes various forms, but one holds particular interest for us. Tell me, have you ever experienced a sudden, inexplicable loss of consciousness?
I'm pretty sure they call that
Had the
narcolepsy.
sensation of being pulled away from reality? Felt as though you were hovering in space? A mind without a body?
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that's from my anxiety.
All these things are the manifestations of your talent. Yours is the power to transcend the boundaries of the soul, a power known as the Echo. The Echo allows you to pass through the walls of a man's soul and hear the resonations of his past. You will be there in his memories and see things as he saw them. You may even interact with that which you see, though you cannot change the outcome of events. For another blessing, the Echo will enable you to know a man's mind even if you cannot comprehend his words. In short, the Echo is a truly extraordinary power, and this power is strong within you. It is only a shame that we cannot use it whensoever we choose.
Not technically true,
That's
but we don't
right.
know that yet.
I too possess the Echo. With that established, let us return to the subject of the Primals.
One of the things I'm interested in is we know that not necessarily everyone speaks the common Eorzean tongue, so it makes sense that we can communicate with everyone, even if they don't speak our language. But the thing is when we go to like the Zayla tribes, why do all our companions know how to speak their language? I think the assumption is just everyone, the common tongue, we all know the common tongue, or at least the writing system is a derivation of each other, so I guess it's just close enough. The assumption is people can understand each other for the broad part, even though we know that like Doman and Hingan language is drastically different.
So long as they exist,
Or just don't think about it.
the realm cannot take so much as a single step towards true peace. Measures must be taken. Measures which transcend boundaries, be they of faction, race, language, or creed. And to do so, the Scions require the aid of those with our talent. Make no mistake, the Echo will be instrumental in dealing with the primal threat. Without it, we cannot hope to save the realm. I know not what it is you desire for yourself, nor what it was that first brought you to Eorzean. But I firmly believe that the power we possess was given to us for a purpose. Why else would the gods entrust man with a gift so extraordinary, if not to have him use it? And so I implore you, lend us your power.
And they can't even have a full dialogue cutscene. Naturally, your aid will go unrewarded. We are fortunate to have a number of influential allies, and at a word from me, they will gladly afford you certain privileges that might otherwise be denied you. I'm just doing monotone for her the whole time. The right to employ retainers, for example. Are you familiar with them? They are individuals who may be relied upon to manage your assets and belongings on your behalf. The benefit of this is I'm going so far that when you hear her voice, it won't sound wooden. It'll actually sound far more like far more personality. Oh, the papers you requested, my lady. Once I finish this cutscene, I'll catch up on chat. Thank you, Tataru. The pleasure is mine, my lady. By way of welcoming gift, I have taken the liberty of adding your name to the retainer's registry. As of now, you are entitled to employ the services of a retainer. You will need consult a retainer vocate regarding the particulars of the arrangement, but believe me when I say that retainers will prove invaluable to you in your adventuring endeavors. Let this gesture serve as evidence of our commitment to do all in our power to facilitate your personal objectives. In return, we ask that you aid us to the fullest extent of your talents. A mutually beneficial relationship, I am sure you will agree, and one which serves the greater good besides. Well, that was a veritable lecture, was it not? Forgive me, but it is important that all concerned are aware of what is expected of them. Now you know our purpose, and what we can offer you. I invite you to consider joining us. When you have come to your decision, you may tell me without fear of censure. In good faith, I shall entrust you with our order's password, which our members use to reach one another when afield. It is Wild Rose. Pray keep it safe. That's from FFXIV, isn't it? Okay. Kind of pick fave. Tataru just trollololol, never knows that. Yep. I remember noticing that a while ago. Clipping this for YouTube Remix is gonna be bigger than taking the hobbits to Isengard. I got a jar of dirt combined dream pig. Thanks, Serene. Does ARR predate the meme? No. That meme. No. ARR is like 20, circa. Yeah, no. I don't think 1.0 it predates that meme. Minfilia hit the screen and some of the suspicious spam bots seem about right. Those voices. I would say for ARR, it's the Southern Thanalan theme. Yeah, I do like the Southern Thanalan theme a lot, Atelier. Those classic ARR voices, man. Yes, Southern Thanalan music is great. We trust you not to lead us astray, Elio. Thanks, Ren. Anxiety equals talent. I'm set. Chris, I thought the same thing. Removed and reported. Thank you, Ray Ray. Always thank you, Ray Ray. The power of language plot convenience. They have translators from Star Trek. If you mean the people in Asm Steppe, I imagine it's due to the Reunion being their center hub for trade, so exchange of foreign languages may be common. Atelier, that's a great speculation, and I think they actually insinuate as much in some dialogue. I more just meant that regardless of where you are, be it in the steppe, the sea, or Hingashi or Doma, everyone seems to be able to speak common Eorzea, which is notable in Eorzean, which is in and of itself notable. They all look so dorky here, babies. I know, right? One day you'll be very cool. I already love you, but you don't know yet. You're my favorite. Of the Scions currently here. Yay for mods. Yes, yay for mods indeed. We can't use those on trials, silly Minfilia. I was shocked to learn that Sam Riegel voiced Alfino in ARR. I love Critical Role, but he was not it for the voice. I think he's one of the better ones in Realm Reborn. I totally agree he was not it for the voice. I do think he's one of the... I remember playing ARR. He was one of the few that I was like, okay, I'm at least behind. And the thing is, at least his disposition and cadence of voice kind of works for Alfino being as snooty as he is early on. Up until the Ascian attack, I really didn't think much of Tataru, so much that I was surprised we made the walk across the bridge with her. Like, that's the thing, though. It's very easy because they don't build her up a ton until really into Heaven's Word. Like, Heaven's Word, not only does Alfino get to shine, but Tataru gets to shine there as well. And it's also... You don't know in ARR how much you'll come to love those people and why, you know? Robophilia is probably the best thing to come out of your voices. Yeah, Wild Rose's Rebel Army's password 5 of 2. Okay, I was right. I remember. Yeah. His voice will be less cool, though. I don't know which voice you mean, but hello, Elvin. I don't know if I said hi earlier. Okay, I have a question for the females in the audience because I've always been one, the fact that it's boob window, like, and just like super emphasis both in color for her chest mantle, for lack of a better way of putting it, but also that's gonna hurt. That's gonna undercut your boobs sitting there. There's no way that's providing support. This must be a nightmare, right? Am I crazy? This would be a living. I grew up with 2 sisters and a mother for the majority of my time and at home, and like, I mean, I guess if it's rigid, I mean, she has an undershirt other, and if this thing is rigid enough that it itself is providing support, but it's still gonna dig in. I just can't not comment on it because it's just all with Minfili's outfit. It was always just too egregious to not point out. We Scions have but one objective: to safeguard the future of Eorzea. Among our gravest concerns are the godlike beings known as the Primals. Long have we striven to find the lasting solution to the threat they pose. I now know what it is you desire for yourself. I know not what it is you desire for yourself, nor what it was that first brought you here to Eorzea, but I firmly believe that the power we possess was given to us for a purpose. Pray consider this when giving me your answer, Elio. Oh, I'm surprised they haven't changed this in all dialogue options. I guess we're not in a cutscene, so they can't use the... because they only have it set for cutscenes. Oh man, chat is popping off.
I take it you will help us.
God, the pacing of randomly giving...
I knew you wouldn't let us down.
See? Now she says, like, sounds like she has personality compared to me.
But come, I would introduce you to your friends in the Order. Tell me, does the name Sharlayan ring any bells? It used to be one of Eorzea's 6 city-states, and was situated in the northwest of Aldenard.
This is nitpicking to all hell and a pedantic point, but I'm going to point it out because we're here for lore as well. It is situated northwest of... well, it's situated in the northwest of Aldenard. Yeah, okay, that's not wrong. I just, like... because it is so far northwest in the Blind Frost... or not Blind Frost, the northwest of Bloodbrine Sea in the Northern Empty that, like... I wouldn't even think to compare it to Northern Art, but like, yeah, situated in the northwest. Well, no, because the northwest of Aldenard. I really would have said to the northwest of Aldenard, but whatever. I'm just being pedantic.
Keepers of wisdom, both old and new. Their mastery over magic and ether
Were?
was unsurpassed, and even the Garleans knew to fear them.
Why is she speaking in past tense?
Among their number, there were a noble few who devoted their lives to safeguarding the future of Eorzea. When the realm began its descent into chaos, and their countrymen fled for the motherland, they alone chose to remain here. These noble men and women were called the Archons. Those same brave souls stand before you now.
Important of note, the name Archons was... because, like, anyone with an Archon tattoo is technically an Archon, right? But the name Archon, for those who were part of the Circle of Knowing... is also something that was partly bestowed by Eorzeans, partly as a byproduct of all being Archons. So there is a technical difference between one of the Archons versus a Archon. Just an interesting tidbit.
The masked woman is Ida, and beside her is Popalimo. The two are charged with surveying the Twelveswood.
Hello there. Welcome.
Welcome.
My turn to introduce someone. That there is Thancred.
He is our man here in Ul'dah, Jewel of the Desert.
Welcome to the team.
I find Thancred's voice totally fine. I mean, it's not...
The lovely maiden beside me is named Y'shtola. Limsa Lominsa has the pleasure of being under her care.
New one's better, but old ones I think was good.
I have been expecting you. Last but not least is Eorzean, who presides over all affairs within these halls. Pray seek him out whenever you have questions.
Eorzean is the one example of one that I like equally between the two, because don't get me wrong, I fucking adore Eorzean in the current one. but I love Balthier. So
dawn may banish even the darkest night. The words of a dear friend. I'm glad of our meeting.
At the Battle of Carteneau, our leader was taken from us. But we did not stray from our purpose. We sought out Minfilia and others with her talent, and together established the Scions of the Seventh Dawn.
combination of the Circle of Knowing and the Path of the 12. Two different groups that were existing in Eorzea during the time of 1.0 that were serving to try and forestall the events that were coming.
Along with the archons, those blessed with the Echo play a pivotal role in our endeavor to forge a brighter tomorrow for the realm. Oh, I should also introduce you to Tataru, our clerk. She ensures that everything runs smoothly.
Pleased to make your acquaintance.
In time, I hope you will come to think of us as family.
That sounded like a voice line from like a Jumpstart Play School game, CD-ROM game that came out in 1997. The voice that just came out of Tataru.
But without further ado, I would assign you your first task. Eorzean, have the documents arrived from the students of Baldessian?
Aye, my lady.
First mention of
They
Baldessian.
arrived but recently.
We have received a request for aid from the Immortal Flames. Thancred, would you do the honors?
It would be my pleasure. Some days ago, a crystal caravan registered to Amagina and Sons mineral concern was waylaid and divested of its cargo. But there is more. Within a bell of the robbery, several people were reported missing from the shantytown outside the city.
At a glance, one would assume the involvement of bandits, kidnappers, and coincidence. Such crimes are hardly uncommon, and the Immortal Flames deal with their like almost every day.
I really don't think my version of
However,
her is actually that
this
much less
time we have
more,
reason
or that
to
much more
believe that a
monotone.
Primal is involved.
This time we have reason to believe a primal is involved.
Aye, the evidence left behind implicates the Emoja, who are known worshippers of Ifrit. If we then consider the objects that were taken, there is no room left for doubt. The crimes were committed in the name of a Primal.
That you may better understand the nature of our struggle with the Primals, I would have you play the leading role in this investigation.
It's weird that they bother saying Ifrit,
You
but not
have my
Bahamut.
thanks. If there is aught you wish to know, I recommend you speak with Thancred. He is well versed in the affairs of Ulda.
Bahamut and Ifrit are fine.
Ever at your service,
They've-
dear fellow.
They've literally canonically used Bahamut and Ifrit before, so. Oh man, we got a bunch of you guys are talking. Let's check in the chat. Oh my god. Okay. I'm shocked to learn the same well, the voice will be less cool, but window. Okay. It's weird. I can't confirm. Okay, Sarene, I trust you. I mean, that's video games. No, it's not that I'm like shocked that they did it. It's not that. It's more just talking about. Yeah, I mean that's fine. I've worn things that have dropped down like that and had openings like that. Like it's a little weird, but it's fine. Like, but this is not just like physiologically. Like my problem is this is not just are they like doing that hyper on display, but you notice color more than you know shape or anything else. So the fact that there's no other pink on her, and they only set it there, it's like specific design choice. Maybe clothing magic? I mean, it's possible. We know you can weave things into cloth. Tataru's development is subtle and always in the background, so she can stealthily sneak her way into our hearts. Exactly, Crotorise. And the butt window, yep. Her entire outfit is just kind of odd, yep. I mean, there's a reason that she gets the mother outfit, right? All right, I have to go for now. I'll catch up on the VOD a little later. Phantom, sorry I missed you. Although if you're watching the VOD, hopefully you'll hear me say this. Thanks for watching. That's some kind of harness for after hours and not a combat or casual wear. So you're saying you'd wear that, Sarine? I wonder what you're going to model your 2 retainers. I didn't even think about that. I wasn't even sure I was going to bother. It's an Aether boosted bra. You sounded better, to be honest. Thanks, Chris. French Mephilia is so good. I have no idea what French Mephilia sounds like. You should totally put a link in the video section of the Discord for French Mephilia. I won't be around for the rest of the week. I've got to go to Texas. See you guys. See you, Ren. I hope that if you're watching the VOD, or if not, thanks for watching. Take care, Ren. Enjoy Texas. Enjoy Ren. Or you can blame the Ascians for black magic bras. Yeah, the boob window is likely going to hurt, and yes, it would be a nightmare to wear. Maybe she stuffs her shirt. You don't know how much of that boob shelf is actual boob. That's fair, yeah. Playing through ARR again made Yita's stupidness make sense. Yeah, she's playing it up. I like Papalimo's voice here. Sounds more like a Lothal. Will be the first time I imagined it. Yeah, I miss Yita's voice 1.0. He is trying too hard. You notice how she gives up the squeaky voice later when she chills out. Why did Eorzean would weirdly sultry when he was delivering his lines? Because the voice actor for Balthier always sounds sultry. Oh, that reminds me, we need a Cockney Lala voice. I will have to practice one of those. Well, to be fair, there is a reason why Yita's faking her own self. Yeah. Oh my God, squeaky Tataru. Oh no, the Tataru voice is too squeaky. Tataru sounds like a literal child. A Realm Reborn Lalas are all being squeakers. Then we have JPU Hase. Minfilia's Kingdom Hearts design is so bad. Hopefully it changes later. Minfilia's Kingdom Hearts design is so bad. She's in Kingdom Hearts? We don't deserve JPU Hase. We don't deserve Japanese Pippin. Is voiced by Ocarina of Time Link. Really, Atelier? Oh, I've got to listen to that. That sounds amazing. Ready to begin, are we? That's the spirit. So, this mission is to investigate the crystal robbery and a spat of abductions. Crimes which we believe to be connected. Assuming we're correct, it is like that any discoveries we make in relation to one will further our understanding of the other. Now, since the attack on their caravan, our friends at Amagina and Sons Mineral Concerns have doubled security over all their shipments. In light of this, it is my judgment that the abductions should be our priority. According to our preliminary findings, the majority of the missing were last seen in the vicinity of Camp Drybone, so that would seem a fine place to begin. A fellow by the name of Isambard serves as the camp's de facto leader. Pay him a visit and see that he gives us his full cooperation. Oh man, I'm gonna have a fun time voicing La Habrea. So I've been doing this for the Black Masks, but I gotta figure out something for like, because I simultaneously want to do something that's like fucking loud and crazy and insane, but also still has a little bit of like venom to it. I'll have to figure something out. What's Tataru gotta say? Elio, how goes it? All's well's here. At least on the bookkeeping front, anyway. Wow, dragon. Okay, now I have to walk all the way to Central Thanalin or Eastern Thanalin? Eastern Thanalin, yeah. Do I have? No, I don't. Okay. I should have catched up on, actually, no, I don't have Chocobo Keep yet. Actually, wait, I might have the Chocobo Keep. Do I have it anywhere? Yeah, okay, cool. I'll just go to Horizon. Yep, Nobuyuki Hiyama. Nobuyuki Hiyama is Pippin's VA. That's super cool. Yeah! See? Yeah! La Habrea is such a Power Rangers villain. Read a repulsive voice. After 10,000 years, I'm free. Now to conquer Earth. Bear witness to the power of Ultima! Oh, that hurts, but I kind of like it. Laha Burns' voice. No, I mean, in Felix design feels Kingdom Hearts inspired to me. That definitely don't like it. It sticks out like a sore thumb. Hi. Oh, also, hi, Kaio. I don't know that it sticks out like a sore thumb. I think it's not great. I wouldn't say it's discontinuous, like, not contiguous with the other characters. I don't necessarily know that I like it, but what I will say is I don't know how Kingdom Heartsy it is. Like, it doesn't necessarily feel like a super Nomura outfit. Like, you look at Gaia, right? And that looks like a Nomura costume, and which makes sense. He designed her. But, I mean, primary colors. So, like, Kingdom Hearts 1, a lot of primary colors in contrast to the other characters who are all wearing whites, blacks, and grays for the most part. I mean, yeah, they don't know that's entirely an unfair observation. I guess to me, it doesn't strike me as that, but I don't think that's unfair. That was awesome. Thanks, Chris. Also do the same motions like Rito when you do La Habrea's lines. What will you name your Chocobo, though? I don't know. I named my Chocobo for my main character, Obocho. Obocho the Chocobo. I'll need to think about that. I need to think about a good name. The Scions, decency and simplicity, Minfilia. Thought! The Scions, decency and simplicity, Minfilia. Thought! I mean, to be fair, though, like, yes, the boob window is overemphasized, but it's not... Her outfit as a whole does not over-sexualize her in... It sexualizes her more than most outfits do for most primary characters. But it's not egregious in my mind. But it's noticeable, which makes it more noteworthy than the vast majority, than a lot of other designs. We're just going to hide that naked HD from our channel. Which, speaking of the topic I guess we're talking about, not entirely inapt. Eastern Downloads again. Name him Milkshake. Okay, you know what? Maybe we do need to name him Milkshake. That's a pretty good one, Sarian. Quabert. Yeah. Bot is back. Yep. Fair enough. It's just I can count 10, 15 belt loops in it. You know what? That is a fair argument. Okay, under that auspice, I'm willing to agree with you as a Nomura belt. It does have enough belts. I'll definitely agree with you there. Oh, actually, speaking of, you guys may lose me for a second, but I need to check something quick. Have we had any latency issues, or has the stream been kind of rough at all? Because I forgot to unplug my NAS server again. I had a to-do list for that, but I accidentally forgot to do that before, because I was very tired. So I only got out of bed like 15 minutes before I needed to stream. I mean, not got out of bed. I was out of bed before that. I laid down for like 30 minutes. Minfilia took all our belts. Oh man, I had already forgot we had belts. I play, more time has been spent in this game me playing with belts than with not, and somehow I've already forgotten about that. You want to talk about quality of life? Yeah, we used to have belts and TP, and the Bard limit break used to be a healer's limit break. Man, however much quality of life you think we've gotten in the past year, if you compare 2.0 A Realm Reborn to the modern day, it's night and fucking day. Like, 1.0 may have been a nightmare, but 2.0 A Realm Reborn versus current is just not even. Seems fine to me. I did not notice. Okay, cool. Let me know if we happen to see a dip at all, and I'll do that. Oh, you know, while we're here, since I've been writing about Hydaelyn, I should have been talking about this. So you've got places. I actually wrote a thing on all the sections of Hydaelyn. I only ever produced the Western Hydaelyn one because the views didn't do so good, and it took a lot of effort to make it. So later on, I'm sure I'll do all the different sections of all the different maps. It's just a time thing, and right now I want to focus on stuff that'll get seen so that we can get bigger, more subscribers in the short term, to grow and be able to make some more money that we can put away towards things for the channel. Or, you know, maybe potentially get an extra editor in, and then I'd be able to produce content faster. So the Unholy Air, this giant rock showed up after the Calamity, and so the locals all think that it's actually an egg of Bahamut that one day will break Omen and bring about the end of the world yet again. Fun fact. I remember healer stance, dark times. Yep. Well, and cleric stance as well. Yeah, remember healer stances. Yeah, like the other problem with that is not just it in and of itself, but it incentivizes you to focus on doing damage rather than doing your role. Like, healers are healers first, DPS second. But if you create something like a cleric stance, you create a system that specifically incentivizes trying to be DPS first. So you don't want to create systems that fundamentally incentivize you to not play the way that you're supposed to play. You want the design of a job to be such that it should lead you to play appropriately. Now, one problem with the game so far is that most of the jobs, especially as they get further and further in, aren't necessarily always intuitive about what exactly your optimal rotation is supposed to be. And that is a problem. There are things like the Adventurers Guild and Earth Sky Sea, or I think I'm forgetting its name. I barely ever use it, so I forget its name. But those aren't great tools, and they're more useful if you already know what you're doing. I'm Ilsimbard, here to search for your missing folk, I take it. Minfilia sent word that an adventurer fitted in your description would be along. She also warned us the wary of the Amalja. It seems we know who the Amalja. We know who the culprits are at the very least. Now, I bear no official title at this camp, but the people here have come to look to me for leadership. You have my word that I'll do all I can to help see the victims safely returned. Let's get right to it. The Minfilias names the Amalja culprits in all this. You would do well to investigate them first. Much harm has been levied on these lands by the Amalja. The flames burn where they might, but their light cannot stay the darkness in all places at all times. There have been brutal murders of callers at the Church of Saint Adama, Landama, innocents wishing no more than to pay their respects to the dead. The poor souls deserve a proper burial. I would see to the dead before the mongrels catch their scent, but I know not if the Amalja still linger. Would you secure their remains for me, friend? You will find them on the eastern road. 12 willing, you may even come to learn something of what the Amalja seek in this area. Like, the fact that, like, one of the early jobs you're doing is going to collect corpses so that they can be buried is, like, it's easy not to realize or think about it. Critterize. All right, it's getting late here. Fun stream, and I love the channel. I'm sure it'll be up there with the Big Fish today. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and that's the hope. That's the aim and the goal. Hope to see you next time, which will be Thursday. But thanks so much for coming. Nyene Critterize? Nini. So you say that, and all I can think of is Niniri. Have we gotten any new armor? Nah. I'll have to get a new chest piece before we finish, because every day I try to update the image for the thumbnail. And I want to try to avoid the same armor twice until we get the warrior armor. We still got a full hour to go. We got plenty of time. For a second there, I thought I started at 4, and I was like, has it only been an hour? Oh, that's really lovely. Is that what the symbol I think it is? Yeah, I think that's a Nymean lily. That makes a lot of sense. That's the flower that's often used for the dead. That's offered to the dead for some form of peace or in mourning. So, what else are you going to use? You're not going to, like, create a little corpse symbol, right? The poor souls appears to have been ravaged by the Amalja before sitting to rot for several turns of the sun. Totally off topic, but I am mining, and when I hit and hear ting because it misses, I just giggle. I mean, feel free to get off topic. We can talk about whatever you want in chat. I mean, I may end up focusing on the game or a lore point if I think it's important, but I'm happy to talk about other things. But why why does that make you giggle? I mean, I'm glad that it gives you some kind of humor. It's good to see you return. Were you able to secure the remains of our fallen? With the bodies given proper burial to the earth, the souls will find their way across to the other side. You've done a noble deed this day. I thank you. Now then, what of the Amalja? Did you see any? Surely such a massive monstrosities as they cannot conceal their presence, much less take their quarry unawares. Ah, so there were Malja remaining. After all, I feared as much. Their part in the Lowborn disappearing is all but confirmed, but I sense there is more to this than meets the eye. The occasional Malja raiding party would not account for people going missing in these kinds of numbers. The total is too great, and the questions too many. It would not surprise me in the least to learn of another hand in this. But whose? Countless travelers pass through Drybone every day, and even if it were one among them, how would we best discover who might be implicit in these vanishings? What say we turn an eye to the common folk themselves? It may be among them that we find the reasons for these vanishings. 12s forbid it be so. There is a merchant by the name of Ungust who was born here in Drybone and grew up in the Golden Bazaar. Rough character, but he knows the people here better than anyone. I'd wager he's at the inn, quaffing away the day's earnings. Here, I'll write the note for you to show him, else he'd not like to speak to you. Also, peeps, head to Discord. I joined today and got a huge welcome, Adam. Yeah, thanks, Nick. And yeah, feel free to come join our Discord. We talk about Final Fantasy XIV lore and generally Final Fantasy XIV, as well as general subjects every now and then. Yeah, we're happy to have you. Happy to have you, Nick. And absolutely, it's always great to talk to you guys. It's the sound. It's just the sound makes you laughy. Warrior of Light casually carrying 3 corpses on his shoulder. Yeah, Chris. If you enjoy the stream and you are a member, thank you, Ray Ray. Tries really hard. How in the 7 hells a Lalafell Warrior of Light carries numerous corpses in their person? Well, just imagine that they're degraded so badly at this point that they weigh almost nothing. I mean, they would still weigh something, so, but. Cause you swing your mining axe and work at and barn ting. Ungus rhymes with disgust and that feels intentional. See, I just keep thinking of Unga Bunga. I'm just going through my second playthrough. First one was way back when AR was maybe a year old. Just finished the main quest for Heaven's Word. 300 more hours to go. Yep. Yeah. Oh my god, I usually can burp on command with ease. There we go. Well, gods be damned. You're the bloody adventurer who threw me back in Ul'dah, see? Well, what in the 7 hells do you want with me now? Here's your motherfucking letter. Dear friend, burp. Missing people. Yours, Isambard. Folk around here are wary as they come. They'll turn tail and run if you so much as pass wind nearby. I played them all for fools and coaxed some hard labor out of them, I did. If anything, they're even more timid than before, what with all the disappearances. You can go talk to them yourself if you don't believe me. I usually can burp on command with ease. I don't know what's up with me today. I usually could just like go multiple times over and over again. Oh, sheesh, I need to pay attention to writing. Please, sir, just leave me be. I have nothing to say to you, but this. I'll take whatever's been feeding off us low folk. Like, what do you want from me, man? I don't know anything, I swear. Please don't kill me. Well, that was odd. Just as I told you, meh. Wasn't it? The whole lot of them are terrified. That's been the talk of the folk and abducted, but if you ask me, they simply up and moved on to a better place, see? This place isn't exactly Costa del Sol, if you know what I'm saying. We'll get to Ifrit today, and we're on pace too. Welcome back, Elio. Have you learned aught of import? I see. I suppose I shouldn't have expected as much from Ungust. Well, another thought occurred to me in your absence. The common folk are nothing if not fervent in their religious beliefs. Perhaps if they speak freely to their gods, then the clergy may know something of use. Nope. Neither are useful. If we would know what the common folk speak of to their gods, we no better place to ask than the church of Saint Adama, Landama. It is a small and humble church found to the northwest of here. And so long as you're headed there, I might ask you to deliver this embalmed corpse. A morbid request, I grant you, but it must be borne to burial, and I trust none more than you to see it done. Seek out a man named Marcus. He tends the graves of the Lich Yard. He will tell you where the body is to be interred. One funny thing I've noticed with the streams, for the first 2 hours, y'all are always chatty. And I think it's because we probably lose EU people towards the back half, partly. But it's always just around the last hour, right? Like about 10 minutes, 20 minutes before the last hour begins, everyone like either loses steam or they have to head out or stuff. And it's funny to me that it's a pretty consistent trend. I'll just have to make sure to save the energy for the first 2 hours and use the back one as my low-key time. Oh, I don't know why I walked all the way up here. Serene proving my fucking point. All right, it's sleep time for me. Good night, or enjoy your day, or whatever you all are. I'll take the dangerous spots with me to bed. Exorcism performed. This place is now pure. Yes, and I'll go buy yet another milkshake. Or maybe I'll get my chocobo tonight and name it milkshake. See you, Serene. Oh, and to everyone doing the screenshot challenge that they just announced, best of luck to you. I know that quite a few people on our Discord are trying out the server, or trying out for the screenshot challenge or contest, sweepstakes, whatever you want to call it. Ooh, what are we doing for Sid? It's got to be kind of hopeful. I'm Marcus. No, it's too normal. I'm Marcus. No, that's British. I'm Marcus. Yes, a body, of course. There have been so many bodies of late. I apologize, sir. If you seek a place of burial, there is an empty grave atop the ridge. Take the path and lay him to rest there. I'll change it up maybe once he reveals his truth. Small milkshake. I wonder who that guy is. Yeah, I have no idea. Seemed familiar, though. I always mess this up. It's somewhere weird, right? Oh, right, because you have to go up the path. That's what I always mess up. No, he's not important, right? He stopped showing up pretty early on in Realm Reborn. I'm still working on this poster. May post a draft on the Discord for thoughts later. Absolutely, Nick. Totally go for it. I'm sure I and others would love to see it. Too British? He has an English accent. Yeah, I'm going to go British. I just realized that I'm not good at British accents, and I need to, like, figure that out. I need to add to my to-do list to, like, practice certain accents for practice. I like they used Marcus as his alias since that's what his surname was in Final Fantasy VI. Oh, I didn't even put that together, Tillier. Good call. Hello, sorry I'm late. Was helping an FC mate with the Endwalker. No worries, Auroria. Glad to have you. You definitely caught the last hour, and there's always the VODs to check out later. May they all walk in Thal's realm. What? Missing people? I'm afraid I cannot help you. But maybe Sister Orenson can. She's been kind to me. Everyone has been so kind. I don't know why, though. Pardon me. You will find Sister Orenson within the church. Orson? It's fine. Eduard. My little sis was the only family I had left, till the flux up and took her away too. 'Tweren't easy, but I brung her all the way here. Now's all left is to put her to rest proper, like she deserves. So many tragedies have befallen us in recent years. The calamity, the primals. Alas, it is only within our power to shepherd the souls of the fallen, and pray they find peace in Thal's realm. Anybody? Well, no, I'm not going to tell him. Orson. I'm not calling her Ornstein because that's too close to Ornstein. I hear you have done us a service of burying a fallen soul. Please accept our gratitude and extend it to Ilsenbad when next you see him. You did acknowledge of missing Drybone inhabitants. It is true I am closer to the people than any other of the Order. I can confide in them, and they in me. When they wish to speak to their keeper, Thal, I am the medium through which they do. Should I learn anything pertinent, I will be sure to share the information with you. I only wish Marcus would be more helpful in the matter. I pray he did nothing to offend. He saw terrible things during the calamity. His scars run deep. Indeed, he seems now to prefer the company of the dead. Dead over the living. While tragic, I fear such behavior ill befits the church. I received word not long ago that one of our recent visitors, a man called Thancred, I believe, took offense at his conduct. I must have words with Marcus, and soon. Jesus, we're getting all kind of bots today. Why are they so raunchy, too? Is there a lore explanation for the Charlene neck tattoos to look like they were made with bad marker pens? I don't think they do. They're just solid color, but I don't, it's not like their like lines are bleeding or anything. Limsa bots, they be lonely. Yulmore bots. Okay, everyone's just ready to just throw Limsa and Yulmore. Balmung bots. There we go. Man, that's like a name of a guild or like a Final Fantasy XIV band. Balmung bots. That would be a great fucking name. Thank you, Elio. A burial is no easy thing, even when a departed is a stranger. Were you able to learn aught about the missing common folk? You've been keeping yourself rather busy of late, haven't you, Elio? Why was... Jesus. A pleasure, my dear Ilsenbad. The name is Thancred, and I share a passion with you and our mutual friend here for learning what has become of these missing persons, and why. I too spoke with Ungust, more times than I care to count. There seems to be some truth to this notion of the common folk speaking their secrets only to those in service to their gods. Prostration, prayer, penance, abject deeds done behind closed doors, away from prying eyes. Who better to take the pious unawares than she who takes confession, the good sister Ornstein herself? Ornstein? She wouldn't. She couldn't. Even the most beautiful roses have their thorns, my friends. Trust me. And you'd be wise to keep an eye on to this rose. Still, the Lich Keeper Marcus, I'd swear to the 12s I've seen that face elsewhere before. Nope, definitely not once. See, like that yeah, it's relatively solid color with a little bit of fading, but the lines are solid. Of course, the bots are for Limsa. Limsa has sailors, so they need a bot swing. Beautiful, Dez. Beautiful. I think Issa's in love. Sister Ornstein, it cannot be, though she is wont to travel to the Golden Bazaar of her own, and it's not uncommon to see her speaking to the children. But no, it could not be she. Could it? I grow weary of these suspicions. I know there is one child in particular that she is fond of. Pray, seek out the boy, Elio, and see if you cannot glean something from him about Orsen's activities. Dez, have you been here? Have I said hello to you? Because if not, hello. I'm trying to keep track of everyone. Hello, if not so. And to anyone who's here. And to anyone who is lurking and doesn't like to talk. Hello, thank you for being here. I appreciate it deeply, and I hope this stream is in some way helpful, even if just as background noise or second monitor activity. You matter just as much. Hey, Super Sides! Good to see you. Hello. Hello, Kane. To you too. Hi, I just came in a few minutes ago. Okay, good. Glad you're here, Des. Glad to have you. Oh, I don't know why I walked all the way. I forgot I have to go to the Golden Bazaar. Hither has been sought to better his life, all too often at the expense of his brother. That desire and hope can beget suffering and death is a regrettable yet undeniable truth. Though I am not qualified to assist with the rites, I offer what assistance I can to the priests. Sometimes I wonder if I'm just getting in the way, though. You got anything to say, Mr. Flames? May thou lift their burden. No. May thou lift their burdens and dry their tears. Sometimes it is more than I can stand to look upon those who seek out the church. Popping you on for some background noise while I grab dinner and work on a fanfic. Glad to see someone who's deep into lore and caught up double back to early MSQ. Awesome. Yeah, glad it can work for background noise, Kane. And I hope you progress in your writing. Yeah, it's a great time. I'm actually surprised by how little like deep lore there has been to talk about so far in this episode. I mean, there's been like Thorn and the history of Limsa, or the history of Ul'dah a little bit, but there's not been a ton to touch on. At least not that I think isn't already obvious or specifically given to you within other parts of the MSQ. I mean, like, if you don't know who Thal is, if you don't know who the 12 are, I mean, we have a video on that. You can go watch it. But they are the 12 deities of Eorzea. They are split into pairs, 2 for each element. The ones of fire are Nald'thal and Azima. The ones of lightning are Byragot and Rhalgr. The ones of water are Nymea and Thaliak. The ones of ice are Halone and Minfina. The ones of earth are Althic and Nafka. And the ones of wind are Oshan and Limlane. And each civilization, well, not most civilizations in Eorzea have a patron deity. So, for instance, Ul'dah's patron is Nald'thal. Karn, when we get there, I think the dungeon's now optional, but we'll probably do Karn because the lore is important. But Karn, which is over here, their patron deity was Azima. We have Nim, who existed on Vilbrand, this island over here, whose patron deity was Oshan, the Wanderer, thus the name the Wanderer's Palace. Limsa Lominsa's patron is Limlane, the Navigator. Oh, and for a quick geography thing, for anyone who's not aware, this body and this body together, that's what defines Eorzea. This body is called Aldenard, and this is called Vilbrand. Those two together are what makes up Eorzea. So in case you're ever confused why they use Aldenard and Eorzea, or, you know, Vilbrand and Eorzea, that's why. Girabanya, their patron deity, is Rhalgr, though technically it was changed for a short period of time when the Mad King was ruling because he wanted to piss off the monks, but that's a whole different piece of history. The Black Shroud worships Nafka mainly, and interestingly enough, they all Gelmora, the civilization that predates Gridania, also worshipped Nafka. Kurthis worships Halone. Don't think there's... Nymea just has general worship. Althic just has general worship. Sharlayan worships Thaliak. And worship might be strong. It's their patron deity because he's the knowledge deity of wisdom and knowledge. So, you know, but it's not... He's not... They're more sciencey, so it tends to be more cultural than worshipy. Who are we missing? Rhalgr, Byragot. Byragot's worshipped just by people who craft because he's the smith. Nymea, Minfina. Minfina isn't worshipped by anyone in particular, but she is tied to the moon. Halone, Minfina got those. Did the 2 of water, did the 2 of earth, 2 of fire, and 2 of lightning. Yeah, that's it. 2 of 1, that's everyone. But throughout Eorzean history, there have been different cultures that have worshipped different ones. Please, my help. Sister Orson went all out on her own and hasn't come back. She always reads to me right here about Thal and the Order and the other side. I told her I lost my shiny thing and she went looking for it. But what if the monsters outside hurt her? Please find her. Fanfic, Chris. You'd be surprised how early some things are set up in a realm war. Yep, that's what I keep trying to tell people, Elvin. Like, I think a lot of people are like, oh, certain things come out of nowhere, or like, I wish they were set up earlier, and they, like, so much in this game is set up in a realm reborn, but you aren't looking for it because you're being overwhelmed with so much information you may not notice. Yeah, it's nutty how early setup it hits for some stuff. I remember playing on an all and being like, wait, that's being discussed here? Yep. So many things that is done all throughout. I'm not sure if it's already relevant to MSQ, but the whole Alamigo thing was a little confusing to me to go through. I got the gist of it, but somewhat superficial. Yeah, Alamigo, so the thing is, if you start in Ul'dah, you get a lot more of it. But if you do monk job quests, if you do any side quests, if you're in and around Ul'dah at all, there's also stuff that goes on in Little Alamigo. So a lot of Alamigo is set up in advanced, even just in the MSQ, and it's also set up in 2.x quite a lot. But again, you may not necessarily be paying attention to that, or Alamigo is just kind of a name, and it's only contextualized once you get to it in Stormblood. Or Sin. I'm gonna aid you. Get your butt up. Get your butt up, priesty lady. You are the one from the church. Thank goodness you arrived when you did. It seems my gratitude is yours yet again. You spoke with the child? Yes, well, I was able to find his lost trinket. It is a ring given by his mother before she passed. I will see it safely back to him. Yeah, the Alamigo stuff is pretty well established in AR. Yeah, it is. It's actually one of the plot elements. It is probably the plot element of Stormblood that is most heavily established, and probably one of the plot elements most heavily established in any of the expansions ahead of time. It's just you need to pay attention to the side stuff and just the MSQ dialogue. Yeah, it's not even just pay attention, because there's so much to learn if you're going through A Realm Reborn the first time. I'll say this over and over again. You can be paying attention, but you may not realize you need to store Alamigo away. Because why would you feel like you need to store Alamigo any more than you need to store knowledge of Amdapor, or need to store knowledge of what's the fucking good? I can't think of a good Dalmasca. Like when so and not that those aren't important and don't become hyper relevant later, but it's you don't know what will become as important as it will. And so everything is equal until you go through the journey and realize what ends up growing more. So everything basically ends up with equal weight. Turns out Alamigo is just Yorkshire. Yeah, we were talking Yorkshire. We were just talking about that earlier, Elvin. So I need to practice that before we get there. I probably won't do a ton of it beforehand. Well, actually, I probably won't have to do any tonight. So maybe I can practice beforehand. Because I'd like to do the Alamigan accent with all the Alamigans. Oh yeah, job quests help a lot with contextualizing. I wouldn't say they're necessary, but boy do they approach being fundamental to have a real picture of the world. I know I was way more attached to Ishgard before we ever got there because I did Dragoon. Yep. Nim and if you do Black Mage and you do Scholar and you do White Mage, the Maki quests will end up meaning more to you. The Alliance Raid will end up meaning more to you. There's just a lot of ways in which all the jobs, like let me think of another good example. There's a lot of ways in which Bard will make a bunch of different historical events mean more to you. Reaper will make everything with Garlemald and Corvos mean more to you. Machinist will make Ishgard mean more to you, but it's also just kind of a class struggle story. Dancer will be a great setup for Thavnair. Summoner will make Allag mean everything to do with Allag mean more to you and more context around it. Red Mage will also tie in very much. Technically, it came out after the Alliance raids, the Maki Alliance raids, but will make White Mage and Black Mage mean more to you, as well as Amdapor and Mach. White Mage, Astrologian. Astrologian will make Charlian and Ishgard mean more to you. Sage will make Charlian mean more to you. Blue Mage will make the New World mean more to you. Samurai will make Hingashi mean more to you. Samurai Ninja will make you Dolma feel mean more to you. Monk will make Alamigo mean more to you. Dragoon, Ishgard. Gunbreaker will make Boja mean more to you. Warrior will make the Far Reach and the Hellsguard Rogadin, as well as ultimately maybe the Steppe a little bit mean more to you. Dark Knight might make Ishgard mean it will make Ishgard mean a little more to you. And Paladin will make the Ul'dah mean more to you. broadly. Also, do not skip out on the crafting quests. They are amazing lore, and they're great stories. Some of them are some of the best stories in side quests in the game, in terms of storytelling. So if you have been skipping out of them, I would recommend doing them. Sister Eorzean was attacked outside the Golden Bazaar. Gods forfend. I will secure a room at the end for her should she require any rest. Searching for mementos of orphans and risking her own well-being and then doing so, no less. Certainly not the dastardly deeds Thancred would have us believe. And don't mean she ain't guilty. I am well glad I reserved the inn room for our sister Eorzean. It seems she received greater injuries from her attacker than she initially let on. Thankfully, she is expected to make a full recovery. But now, onto the matter at hand. Thancred came looking for you once more. He left word that he'd be waiting at the Amalja encampment to the southeast. I pray the two of you will be able to uncover some evidence regarding their disappearance. Even Hildebrand gives you a bunch of lore. Yeah, I mean, even every joke quest in this game will still give you relevant lore. Dark is more personal lore. Yeah, Elvin, I think that's why I hesitated, is because as much as it can make you appreciate Ishgard more, and it will, that's not its greatest strength. It is much more an interrogation of the Warrior of Light and their disposition and self and all that, which is one of the reasons it's so fucking good as a story. So yeah, I agree. Oh yeah, I'm main scholar, so anything War of the Magi sticks in my brain. Yeah, exactly, Kane. That's exactly. A lot of people may not think about the 5th Astral Era very much, despite there being 4 dungeons directly associated, no, 4 dungeons directly associated with the 5th Astral Era, and an entire alliance raid for it. And 4 jobs directly related to it. So it's like a major, major important thing. I mean, we have 3 lore talks on it, which you should go check out if you haven't. But for such a major event, there's a lot of people who you'll go like the 5th Astral Era, and they'll be like, or Nim, and they'll be like, or Mach, or Amdapor, huh? So the amount of information contextualization that comes from stuff like that is just crazy. There you are, Elio. So good to see you come. Indeed, I've heard all about good Sister Eorzean. Isambard said her wounds were serious. It would seem my suspicions about the poor Rose were misplaced. But false though they were, perhaps my suspicions were not entirely without merit. Whilst following Sister Eorzean near the Golden Bazaar, a band of Amalja caught my eye. I tracked them as far as the encampment, but, well, let's say that I would much prefer to keep my distance and remain here. This, of course, brings me to why I requested you, dear Elio. Would you be so kind as to take a look inside? Craft requests have amazing lore. Alchemy, I love. Yeah, alchemy has amazing lore. Even like the early alchemy quests are really like just fire. But yeah, you will always be rewarded for in lore if nothing else for them, and they're all relatively easy and short to do. So I cannot recommend them highly enough. I really love the Goldsmith ones. I don't think the Goldsmith ones aren't the best. They're not top tier. But A, because I like an Ul'dah, and B, because they have to do with Ul'dah and Alamigo, and then combining those two, because those two have such a relationship with each other, both historically and especially coming off of Stormblood, where the relationship with each other and helping Alamigo re-arise becomes a really important background element, both in MSQ and in side quests. You have the 3.x series, or 4.x series, where that business with them becomes a whole big thing, and then you have multiple side quests and crafting quests, especially with Goldsmith. And I love you get to Nanamo is trying to raise funds for something, and you get to make something for her, and she has a very, very happy moment where she like lets her royal facade drop for a moment. It's very cute. Well, did anything tickle your fancy? This leaflet. See the wealth of knowledge to the hands of your children. It looks to be some sort of assembly to provide the poor with work. The lettering, though, atrocious, is it not? Are these bits about Naldthal seem somewhat less than studied? I find it hard to believe one among the order to pen this. Pray, take this to the inn at Camp Drybone. Let us see what Sister Eorzean makes of it. I did them all. Yep. Good. Well, I have to take my leave. Got to go do a thing. Take care, everyone, and thanks for the stream. Absolutely. Thanks for joining, Atelier. Always glad to have you. One of the Alchemy's quests is a sequel to the events that occur in 1.0. Yes, it is. Although interestingly, actually, in some ways there's 2 quests that are direct follow-up. But yeah, one of them is a direct-ass follow-up. Though it doesn't actually fully answer the question about Heartbleed. Heartsbleed? Heartsbane? Heartbleed? It's Heartbleed, right? I'm forgetting the dagger's name. Nanamo is a good spot. That she is, Elvin. That she is. If we get to Ifrit tonight, and you would like to join for it, please let me know in chat so I know if I need to assume that we're going to have a full party. Or not. Oh, she's upstairs? Okay. Oh, no, right. There's the side door. I always forget about this one. Now, let us see what Eorzean makes of this leaflet. My savior comes again. To what do I owe the honor this day? Bitch, what's this? What? What is this blasphemous? These are not our teachings at all. This was not made by any true brother or sister of the order. Of that, I can assure you. Come to think of it, weeks ago, the church was plagued by missing garments. Could someone be posing as a priest of the order to deceive the people? The plot thickens, Elio. A culprit pretends to be a priest to lend credence to his deception. There is no doubt an irony in there somewhere. But I suspect we have a worthy adversary on our hand. I shall consider how best to handle this. For now, tell Isambard that what we've learned here. Isn't Ifrit duty support? It is, but I was going to offer if people wanted to join in because I was treating it as a functional trial. Have they changed Ifrit? Oh, if you hit Ifrit, I can maybe heal for you. My Duskway alt is on curl. But duty support exists for Ifrit too, and that's pretty neat. Okay, yeah, maybe we'll do duty support. But I'm looking forward to having you guys on when we get to trials, at the very least. What is first trial? No, because normal for all 3 of it. Is the first trial prey? Like, real trial? That's wild. Posing as priest, to think. These troubling notions aside, it is gratifying to finally be able to move this investigation forward. Thank you once again, Elio. I shall keep my ears and eyes open now more than ever. Moggle? No, because Moggle in the Point X patches. Ifrit? No, because Ifrit, I'm talking about 8-man trials. I'm afraid I have not seen any unusual activity, nor have any at this camp given me cause to doubt them. But unless we can identify the culprit and soon, more innocents will fall victim. Like, I mean trials. Do not despair just yet, my friends. An idea occurs to me. Our suspect has been posing as a priest, using leaflets bearing false promises to lure the poor. Let Elio and me serve like with like by posing as impoverished souls in need of succor. I dare to hope that this will yield us the answers we seek. It will be a dangerous undertaking, but you two are more than capable of looking after yourselves. I'm next to useless in battle, but I can supply the garments for disguise. These old tunics and slops should serve your needs, so long as you don't mind the smell and stains. These will serve very well. You have my thanks. Listen, Elio. So as to lay the foundation for our little ploy, we must make widely known that more vagrants have arrived at camp and are desperate for coin. To this end, I want you to don the old garments Isambard lent us and beg for work around the camp. Before long, the false priest should catch wind and approach us. Oh. Raunchy. Ultimate weapon is a 4-man too? Did they make it a 4-man now? Oh my god. So the first trial is Moggle. You're not wrong. Oh, wow. Huh. Look at that. Oh, what? Am I not high enough level? Oh, no, I'm not wearing the item. That's why. I was about to say. So thank you to whoever said it was Mog. Sorry, I doubted you. Time for Shrek cosplay. It really is, though. It really, really is. Yeah, we've had some issues with bots today for the first time. I just remembered something from early game that I think I missed. First time Alphino shows up he's with his sister, right? Yes. Do they say where she goes to? So she, basically they're hanging out together when you first see them. She eventually splits off from him in a cutscene that you see. And then you don't see her again. The first time you see her after that is Binding Coils, when you spend time with her during Binding Coils of Bahamut, and that's her first major character development and arc, which is why it's insane that it's optional. Understandable that it's optional because of how it's currently built, but at the same time, it's still crazy. And also how relevant it becomes to other stuff. But technically, the first time you mandatorily see her is 3.x. I preach the teachings of Azima the Warden. Hast thou come to partake the honey of her wisdom? Azima is keeper of the sun and goddess of inquiry. All is laid bare beneath the light of her divine countenance. Open thy heart to this light, needy child, and thou shalt want for naught till the end of days. It's fun to do Rogan voices. And you are? Oh, get the fuck away from me. You're poor. I'm assuming it's something like that. The new 4-man fights for some of the story are pretty neat changes, to be honest. Good. Yeah. Oh, also, hey, Silver. Glad to have you. Yeah, I hear good things. I have not played any of the changes other than what we've got up to so far. And I was about to get to the good part. Looking for work, you say? Sorry, but we don't have any openings now. Now, get out of here so I can finish my story. Back when she sounded like Mary Poppins. Just had flashbacks to all the wipes during Mogomog, the song taunting over and over. I mean, I just can't never not hear it and just hear This Is Halloween from Nightmare Before Christmas. Wait, is Binding Coils a Realm Reborn content? Yep, it's the raid, or the raid for Binding Coil for a Realm Reborn. Realm Reborn is Binding Coils. Alexander is Heaven's Word. Omega is Stormblood. Eden is Shadowbringers, and Pandemonium is Endwalker. Greetings, good sir. Is there aught I might assist you with? Oh, I don't believe there is. I'm afraid our wares are very expensive. Mayhap you should rejoin your fellows at the pond north of the Sandgate. Oh, actually, is there another person in there? No. Are they're either above or in here. I guess they're above? We'll find out. Yep. I guess I completely missed her. Yeah, and if you have not played Binding Coils, I highly recommend you do. You can go do it on Synced if you're level 90. You may need a friend. I can solo it as a tank, but it can be a little challenging for certain mechanics. Alternatively, you can go watch our summary of it that I made. That is a full summary not only of Binding Coil, but the things you need to know for 1.0 that are relevant and important to understanding what's going on in the Binding Coil. On top of that, if you don't have a lot of time, you can watch our 5-minute summary of the Binding Coil, which I'm rather proud about because it's I find it humorous, and even if only I do. Coils is worth doing. Yep. What is it? God, it's not again. Look, being poor doesn't give you the right to pester whomsoever you like. Why don't you keep with your own kind out by the muddy ponds of yours at Drybone? You have quite a knack for being a nuisance, Elio. The camp is abuzz with the talk of newly arrived vagrants. And though we were unable to attract our wayward transgressor, we were able to learn that the poor have communed by the pond north of Sandgate, to the east of here. The eyes of the authorities do not reach that place, rather ideal for spiriting away hapless souls. Let us go there and wait for the kindly priest to come and offer us aid and comfort. Needless to say, you'll need to remain in disguise. There's one of them you need at least one of other even recall. I think that's Nail, and technically you can make it work solo because I have. But I don't know if you can consistently and with ease currently. There's one of them you need a... it is kind of funny when you haven't done certain raids as a blue mage, but the spell log still defaults to that for the spell recommendations to get, even if you got it from another enemy. Yeah, I think it's just recommending it the most consistent way. But yeah, I don't do a ton of blue mage. I actually don't find blue mage that fun. I'm glad it exists, and it's a great side piece of content, but it's not, like, I don't enjoy it that much. And I also am bewildered by the amount of people asking for it to be a full job. That is a... I don't think people understand how balancing works, because if you want blue mage to be a real job and not a, you know, a limited job, you would either need to fundamentally limit everything that's fun and interesting about it in order for it to work in normal combat and to be balanced, or you would need to break the game and make it not fun. So, like, yeah, it's weird to me that people want it to be a limited job, real job so bad. A fine morning for the for catching false priests, wouldn't you say? A soul nail with summoner, not easy. Yeah, it can be done, it's just not easy. You look absolutely smashing, Elio. Positively dressed for deception. All that's left then is to wait for our quarry to appear. We're poor, ma'am? We're poor? Ma'am, you live in a shack. Oh, you poor unfortunate... Oh, you poor unfortunate souls. There's no way for men to live. No way at all. Who are you? What do you want? Be at ease, child. For I mean you no harm, see? I am the priest of the Order of Naldal, and I come to offer you succor, see? The leaflet bears the teachings of Nald. Trust them, and they will surely set you free from the shackles of penury. A tempting offer, but I'm afraid I must decline. On account for that atrocious performance, you would have made a god's awful mummet, Ungust. What? How did you know? Your bastards tricked me. Please don't hurt me. I was only doing it to protect my people. Is that so? Do continue. Very well. I'm a man of the Golden Bazaar, raised there if not born. Some moons ago, the Amalja raids began. They would appear sudden as a sandstorm and plunder and pillage at will. Our defenders couldn't stand against them. Few as they were, everyone lived in fear. I wanted to save my people, but being a merchant was all I knew, and so I did the only thing a merchant could. I approached the Amalja in hopes of brokering a deal. In return for sparing to the Golden Bazaar, they made demands, outrageous ones. Demands? What kind, pray tell? First of all, they wanted the schedule for crystal shipments from Nanawa mines. For this, I bribed one of the workers to leak me information, see? Next, they wanted to bring them people, so I posed as a priest to lure the vulnerable and give them over to the Amalja. I didn't have a choice. I feel like I'm going Waluigi, but I'm okay with that. Protecting one's home is a noble thing, but at the cost of innocence? You could have sought aid of immortal flames, yet you did not. I suspect you're not telling me the full story. What made you sell your own people? Speak! Was good. What did you say? The coin was good, I said. I could sell a mole meat for a score of lifetimes and not see even a fraction of what the Amalja paid me, see? You sacrificed innocent lives so that you could line your own pockets? Words fail to express the contempt I feel for you. Spare me your contempt. If you want to blame someone for the mess to the world's end, then blame yourself or the gods. Bitch, I might. Not you again. Were you the one leaking the Immortal Flames patrol routes to the enemy as well? Spit it out. No, I know nothing about that. I swear it. At this stage, I'm rather disinclined to believe that aught that leaves your mouth. But no matter, there'll be time enough to learn the truth. Elio, be a good man. Take word of these developments to Menfilio, would you? Can do. I shall prize everything I can of this filth. The abductees are still somewhere out there. Our foremost priority is to rescue them. To Horizon, where prey were returning to the Waking Sands. At the beginning of Stormblood, I totally missed the Binding Coils being a Realm Reborn playable content. Thank you so much for mentioning it. We'll give it a try later. Absolutely, Bao. Go for it. I will selfishly also implore you to watch our summary, but that's just me. I will say, watching our summary may be worth it before playing it, if for no other reason than it will not explain the 1.0 content to you, and that is worth knowing before you go in, because otherwise you're going to be like, nail who fuck what? And knowing who Nail Van Darnus is really, really important before going into Binding Coils. Honestly, Blue Mage is amazing because it makes me relearn really old fights. Never did Coils when it was new, but just cleared T13 last week. Nice. Yeah. I love that Blue Mage exists and that it's weird. And the problem with Blue Mage, and this isn't a problem, this is a strength because it's a limited job, is that you are fundamentally going to engage with fights, usually not as they're intended, but in a very different way by the byproduct of the abilities you have. You're basically are given a wide toolkit of puzzle pieces that you can then use to solve a problem in a different way than the single solution that was granted in the past. So, but yeah, I'm glad that it does that for you, Nicole. And I think you're not alone. I've seen that other people feel that way. Jesus, you're huge. I don't know what you're referring to. I may have missed something. The fic I'm currently working on is actually an adaptation of the Dark Questline for my Crystal DEC. Also, it's been fun to balance quest text with character study and other lore window dressing. Nice, yeah. I just find the questline fun and like getting spells. Had me sold since suffering to learn spell 1. I love the questline, don't get me wrong. And all the lore surrounding the Blue Mage I adore. I guess there's other things so far that I have preferred doing in terms of instead of here's my one issue with the spell collecting. If it was not an RNG thing and it was you do this once and you get spell, I would enjoy Blue Mage. I would just straight up really enjoy Blue Mage, but the fact that it's a random RNG so constantly for different spells is frustrating rather than enjoyable. Most of the time, if not all the time. It makes the process feel like, well, I don't know if because if it was, I get it for sure. I can be like, oh, I've got 10 minutes. I'm gonna go grab a spell. But because it's RNG, I'm like, I don't know if this is gonna take 5 minutes or 2 hours. Like I've had it take many, many runs before to get just one spell. Welcome back, Elio. I am pleased that you and Thancred have been getting along. I see you have done well to uncover the truth. My thanks for the report. As Thancred said, we must ascertain where the abducted were taken, and none but the Eorzean know the answer. Suffice it to say they will not willingly part with this information. I fear blood will be spilled before all is said and done. And she's in the middle of this, we're going to do, well, you know what? I love Mutamix, so that's fine. Though we seek a peaceful solution to the Primal problem, we must needs be ready to fight for our cause. That you might take to the field suitably prepared, I would have you meet with a goblin acquaintance of mine. His name is Mutamix Bubblypots, and he is a scholar of no small repute. Mutamix is renowned for having introduced a revolutionary method of enhancing equipment to Eorzea. The knowledge of this method was once a closely guarded secret, by the Illuminati, no less. But thanks to Mutamix and his students, it has now been disseminated to the great benefits of all the realm. It would serve you well to acquire an understanding of the process. For this purpose, I shall lend you a blade. Take it to Mutamix and bid him use it to demonstrate his craft for you. Mutamix is ever to be found at the camp in central Thanalin, a place known as the Bonfire. Look for a pillar of smoke and the way will become clear. I love Mutamix. I also am very excited to do my goblin voice because I love doing my goblin voice. Like when I did my April Fool's video for Tomefix Checker Books. Which I love that video, even if it didn't do great. I also still actually need to put out my actual goblin video, which I completely wrote an entire goblin lore video script that I just never actually ended up putting out because I totally forgot to. Hi, Minfilia. Look at my hobo outfit. Yeah, I guess I can take that off now, can't I? It's RNG for if you're doing an instance unsynced. I feel like I've run dungeons synced and it still did it. Like I ran Pharaoh Sirius and it still did it. And when I did things in the open world, it was still RNG supersides. I had to do multiple runs synced of Pharaohs when I got it. Time for Kitty's dinner. We'll be back. Okay, Auroria. Hopefully you'll be back soon. Hope Kitty is good. Love your Minfilia voice. Thank you, Ray. I appreciate it. If you go synced, it's guaranteed. I swear I've run Pharaoh Sirius more than once. I always forget how much I like the tile work and carpets in Ul'dah, and I still haven't gotten the Pharaoh Sirius one. I want more Tomefix content, please. You will get more, Chris. There is something that there is something that Koji Christopher Fox, the lore master and head localizer, well, he's no longer the head localizer, that's Kate's job, but that Koji asked for in like 2012 or 2013 in an interview that for someone to do that no one ever has, and I'm very excited to do it as a project, but it may be next April Fool's, but I definitely want to find ways to get Tome Fix to show up in other stuff, because I love Tome Fix too. Who is Uplander? Come to 10th ring of Metamix bubbly pots. Huh, okay, Super Sides, I'll try again. So maybe I'm just wrong. It's been a while. Fighty Tools drinks an Airy... Oh, Swinsor. Fighty Tools drinks an Airy Self. When full of Airy Self, Fighty Tools change to Stony Shine, name of Materia. If Materia join with other Fighty Tool, then Bugsy Fighty Tool gains power of Airy Self. Metamix is recommending that Uplander is friend of Manphilia. Yep, that's right. I was sent here to get a knife. Upgraded. Yes, tongue flaps reach ears and Metamix with fastness. Manphilia wants Uplander to see power of Materia. Uplander brings Fighty Tool to Metamix, yes? Here's your knife. Fighty Tool is unstrung as eating tool. Make your teacher show of power of Materia. The Materia Master. Now eyes of Uplander point at Fighty Tool, yes? Materia join with Fighty Tool. Fighty Tool gives power of Materia. Fighty Tool reborn. Here, Uplander take Fighty Tool to Manphilia. Materia, strictly speaking, is a kind of crystal. It is created by drawing out the etheric constituents from a piece of equipment and then crystallizing them. Not just any old equipment will serve, mind you. It must have sufficient spirit bond, that being a measure of how fully an item has been imbued with its owner's spirit. When you attach a piece of materia to the gear, you imbue the host item with its power. That's how Master Mutamix turned the dagger of yours from something as would struggle to cut steak into a weapon worth wielding. Uplander wishes to be joiner of Materia. Then Uplander best fill brain case with knowings of crafty make. When knowings of crafty making, Uplander can become joiner of Materia. If Uplander wants brain case to rattle with knowings of Materia, Uplander best trade tongue flaps with learning ones of Mutamix. I'm really excited to get to Ilshire. That's gonna be fun. Is it the one where you have to enrage the bird enemy? Because that one is real pain. Yeah, Silver, that is the one. How far have you gotten today? We're probably going to approach near Ifrit. Not Bahamut, Jesus. So we are going to be... I mean, we're at Life Materia and everything, so... Pretty decent, Professor. Also, hi, Professor. Glad to have you. Have you in today? Gabi voices pure serotonin. Almost ever... Thanks, Chris. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoy it, Chris. It's really, really fun to do. So if any of you enjoy it, I'm glad that syncs up. It works way too well. Dope. Are you going to be doing crafting gatherers on this character? Yes. However, I don't know that we'll be doing them right away. I need to plot out the course for anything that's technically a side quest that's not MSQ related. We will be doing Warrior during a Realm Reborn. We will be doing Heavensward stuff into Heavensward. We might do up to Dragoon before Heavensward because of the Estinian stuff, and then Dragoon proper when we get to Ishgard. The thing about the Estinian stuff is that like Estinian in the Dragoon quest is effectively not really even Estinian. I almost prefer not to do it and have your first meeting be in Ishgard, because I really don't like his representation in the Dragoon quest, because like it's not like it's wrong or actively bad or anything, or like, but it isn't quite synchronous to me as to where you find him when you get to Ishgard. Cute Darth Vader noises. Term fixed. Make busy days. Why are you teleporting to Horizon? To go to the Waking Sands? Super Sides? Because that's where we need to go. And there's not an aetheryte in Vesper Bay. Oh god, I'm gonna have to learn to do this in like the different octaves for the different goblins when we get to Idleshire. So if I do this, I guess I could do it like this for Blarflax. That's a little too high. Oh, wait, what's Deep Gobby? Gobby wonder what the upland are doing with thingy. I like to think that Estinian ARR is mostly Nidstinian. I mean, the thing is that he's not super influenced by Nidhogg at that time to a great extent. But, like, you're not... Professor, that's not... Because of the eye and its influence, he may be early on. I think that's totally a fair way to look at it. And I think that's why I say, like, it's not wrong. It's not fully discontiguous. And there's ways to rationalize it. It just... is not where you find him by the time you reach Heavensward, so it's a little wonky. It clearly feels like different people wrote him, where you don't get that as much in other things. Welcome back, Elio. I trust your visit to the bonfire proved fruitful. Ah, what a remarkable difference a single piece of materia can make. Granted, the skills needed to manipulate the substance are not easily acquired, but one need only look upon the results to realize such efforts are worthwhile. As I am sure you are aware, the quality of one's equipment can be the difference between victory and defeat. Materia may well give you the edge you need, Elio, so make it your ally. Now it is time we discuss the matter of your next mission. Pray, speak with me when you are ready to begin. Vesper Bay teleport tickets? That's a thing? Huh. All y'all who joined in the past year or two, y'all had it easy. You have no idea what we went through. That said, I'm glad you had it easy. I do not resent you in the slightest. Word has arrived from Thancred, where are you? Thancred concerning our ongoing investigation. It appears he was able to extract some information from our friend Ungust, the false priest. He revealed that he is due to meet with the Amalja to discuss their dealings. The Immortal Flames believe that the meeting will present an ideal opportunity to ambush and capture the Amalja, responsible for the abductions, and so they mean to have Ungust attend as planned. As the Amalja are anticipated to offer fierce resistance, the Immortal Flames have requested our support. I would have you provide it to them, Elio. Thancred, oh Jesus, I keep doing that. Thancred is presently attending to another matter, but will join you as soon as he is able. Until such time as he does, you will be the Scion's sole representative on the ground. Before he left, he bade me tell you, save some for him. Such is his confidence in you, a confidence I share. When you have made ready, pray take yourself to Camp Drybone and report to the Flame Sergeant leading the mission. May you walk in the light of the crystal. I like to think that Estinian and AR is mostly Estinian. You should have Vesper Bay throw tickets. Yeah, everyone's telling me I have tickets. Yep, tickets. Thank you all. I appreciate it. Did Minfilia take a Valium? I mean, like, have you heard her voice in A Realm Reborn? Effectively, yes. I hope Minfilia was actually uses the dagger in the event she is put in danger and not simply roll over and accept her lot. I mean, to be fair, the only time that we see her put in danger are situations in which she is, like, it's unreasonable for her to expect to fight. We know that she's tough and technically a fighter. We just never get to see her really be one in a reasonable circumstance. Elio, Forgerant of the Scions, my thanks for coming, friend. We're stronger for your assistance. Allow me to brief you on our mission. Our objective is to capture the Amalja and prise from them the whereabouts of our abductees. The lizard men aren't aware that their man, Ungust, has been exposed. When they come to the rendezvous point to meet the traitor, we'll spring the trap. Owing to the clandestine nature of this mission, we can deploy only a small contingent. Every member must count, and so we requested the aid of the Scions. The rendezvous will take place in the Invisible City. Please, make your way there and lie in wait. We stand to learn much and more of the Amalja's plot if the mission succeeds, Elio. Let make sure it does. She's tough. I'm sure she could fight off an assailant. Remember, her job, she was a miner for years. Like, she spent time in the brothels and was, like, did hard labor most of her life. So, like, she's not a desert, you know, she's not some like, lily white flower. You know, at best, she's a desert rose. She's tough. Her main job is oh, yeah, Ray already got there. Cool. She's a minor main. Yep, everyone's tough. Yeah. Cat has been fed. Hope everyone is doing well. Yes, they are, Aurora. I don't know if you missed it, but we were just doing, we got to do Mutamix Bubbly Pots, and I got to do my goblin voice, which is a lot of fun. Does Elio have an Archon tattoo, or is that just a headcanon thing? Elio would have an Archon tattoo in the lore of the Eorzean archives, yes. Whether or not Warrior of Light Elio is not technically the Eorzean archives Elio, the T Elio. So, because, but the Ninieri, Isidoril, and Elio are all Archons who graduated from the Studium. So, they would have their Archon tattoos. As for Warrior of Light, you know what, I can still rationalize that I did come from Charlian. So, because we know it's okay to come from outside Eorzea, so 1.0 came from Charlian, came to the mainland for some reason, and then disappeared during the Battle of Cartnau 2.0, and then came, you know, arrived back post that. Actually, that is what we'll go with the headcanon currently for, I don't know how we'll rationalize that when we get to Charlian and people say things, but we'll find a way to make it work. We'll go with that for Warrior of Light headcanon. Not again. Is the bait in place? Our man is in position, sir. Ray, don't time them out. Actually, like, block them if you can. I don't know if you have permissions to do that, but please. Because if you can time them out, they can just come back. Our man is in position, sir. Good. We make to move as soon as the Amalja appear. Yes, sir. Oh, I gotta figure out the voice for the Amalja. It's gonna be very deep and like... Okay, don't have permissions for full band. I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. Wah! Oh wait, that was Ungust. What is the... What is the meaning of... What is the meaning of this? Wait, something's amiss. I'm afraid your little ambush ends here. How did he think this was gonna go down? I eluded the immortal flame's clutches for moons before finally being caught. Did you not wonder how I managed it? 'Twas almost as if someone was feeding him information from the inside. Aye, every moment was known to me ahead of time. Now, as much as I'd love to chat a while, I have appointments to keep. They're all yours. I reported them. Awesome. Love your discussing HC on stream. I have loads for the group. It's super nice to see others discuss theirs. Yeah, absolutely, Kane. I'm gonna just be out front and real about my dispositions. I am typically not super into headcanon unless absolutely required. I tend to try to refrain from it as much as possible and only go with factual stuff. But the design of the Warrior of Light is such that it is clearly intended. I also tend to not be huge personally on fan fiction, but I respect the art and craft. My problem tends to stem from, when it comes to lore specifically, dealing constantly with people who treat their headcanon as lore or their headcanon as canon, and that becoming a very dangerous road. That said, absolutely happy to talk about where applicable, and I definitely respect the effort that goes into the practice. I'm just sometimes wary of it, is all. I also am wary when... Here's the thing that... This is a personal issue thing. I have a hard time when people don't treat characters as they're actually written in game and reimagine them so heavily or make them act in ways that are not really supported by how they act as written by their authors. That throws me for... that is not to say I have scorn. It's just a personal issue I have. A personal difficulty I have. It's more how I describe it than a... thank you, Ray Ray. Yeah, that sticker was beautiful. Glad you liked it, Auroria. Just so my card... But on the fanfiction stuff, that is just so my cards are out on the table. However... If you want to talk to someone who does love fanfiction and often writes it for the archons in their articles, Naniri does. Speaking of which, I keep forgetting to mention this, but we have a website where Naniri writes articles on all the lore as well, and you can find it at it's the Eorzeanarchives.com. So please definitely go check that out. We also, as time is going on, I say this about fanfiction, and yet we're clearly already writing some of our own in a sense with the lore of the archives, and we're creating characters like Tomefix Checkerbooks is not an official character, and yet we're like creating an own type of in-universe fiction with the characters here. So I'm part and parcel to doing it myself. So I can say all those things that I have difficulties with myself, but I'm still part and parcel to it. Put up your weapon or your comrade's a dead man. Behind you! I love that they sleep you. It's not even like a fireball or anything. Oh yeah, that's honestly one of my biggest pet peeves with writers who use headcanon as lore, and I really just reimagine them as something not congruent with the game. I'm a big on what they call original flavor. Bring him. Right. The rest of you, march. Traitorous scum. But yeah, it's not a scoring thing. I just try not to read too much from those authors. Yeah. My only problem is I've seen those people write things on forums or wikis. And then that drives me crazy. You will always find that almost universally, if I have a strong opinion about something, I will have it rooted in specific evidence, or I will say that I'm couching it as something that I believe based on these certain assumptions or guesses, but that is not declaratively true. And I think people don't necessarily do enough of that. They are too declarative with the things that are more speculative. I fear the emulsion might give us to their gods as an offering. If I must die, then let me die a soldier's death with steel in hand. It's sad what happens to him. I like to think my Here Highlander war is akin to is an Alamegan who recently escaped guarding occupation. I mean, the game supports you thinking of that. The game supports you being 1.0 or a fresh Warrior of Light, so that's completely rationalized, a way to rationalize it. My personal headcanon is that the Warrior of Light doesn't fully understand what's going on and just goes through the plot like Forrest Gump doing things because he was told. Look, I mean, especially in the early stuff, especially in an ARR, that is not an unfair read. Scion Carringer, Scion Thaumaturge, Scion Lancer. Okay, so they're all Scions, so they're all, that explains, they all hire people with the Echo. One thing I'm going to be looking out for as we go through is I'm going to be keeping notes of who is explicitly said to have the Blessing of Light beyond us, because I had a conversation recently about this.
Lord of the Inferno, hearken to our pleas. Lord of the Inferno, deliver us from our misery. O mighty Ifrit, Lord of the Inferno, your humble servants beseech you, grace us with your divine presence.
The flames look real good here. Oh, look at that. Oh yeah, 60 FPS never looks so good.
O mighty Ifrit, we bring before you ignorant savages who know not your godhood. If you please, you Lord scorch their heathen souls with your cleansing flame and mark them as your own.
Ah, bloody hells.
Bring those two as well.
Ank. What's going on? This wasn't what we agreed.
None but servants of our Lord Ifrit may behold the rite of summoning. The souls of unbelievers are forfeit.
No, spare me, I beg of you.
Pitiful.
Give me a second. Let's figure this out.
Pitiful.
No.
Pitiful children of man, my brethren, arise once more as my loyal minions. Feed my flames with your faith, and as all who stand against us shall burn.
He had the resonant, Chris. Which is a synthetic echo. Wait, I'm okay? Oh, mighty Ifrit, my one true God. Your words are my bread.
Impossible. By what sorcery do you resist my master's will?
Great question.
Could it be? Your soul already belongs to another.
Yes, that is the only explanation. Not really, though. You could argue that we also know that the blessing of light protects us some.
Foolish thy frail mortal frame can serve as vessel to the blessing of but one.
The implication here is like they're getting at the idea that maybe Hydaelyn has tempered us, which is kind of insinuated all throughout and played with.
Yet I smell not the faint of taint of another upon thee.
Also explaining that no, it is not Hydaelyn.
The truth of thine allegiance waxeth clear. Thou art of the godless blessed number. The paragons warn of thine abhorrent kind, thy existence not be suffered.
Ooh, that's making me lightheaded. Ironvault is already at the Waking Sands at this point, Warrior. I'll make sure to go back and make sure to check that out. Thank you for pointing that out, Elvin. I was going to do that after doing Ifrit. Yeah, which is super cool. I love talking with Ironvault. I love Ironvault. That's an interesting job interview. Hello, welcome to the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. Before you work for us, we need to ask, does the planet talk to you in your dreams? Did Xenos have the Echo, or was he just a vamp? He had the Resonant. I'm fucking awesome, that's how. At Chris, it seems to me that he was blessed with it, but his will is so strong that it overtakes Primals. That's he's a vamp. No, it's because he had the Resonant. The Resonant was created by using an imprint of Kryle's Echo to imprint onto people, both with Fordola and with Xenos. I got, when that pops up, Ray, let me, I'll just ban it. Silly little sprout thaumaturge. Me did this fight with only ice spells. Is there any new mechanics for this? Arnvald is there from the first time you enter the Wakened Sands. Yeah, thanks, Auroria. Yeah, I meant to go check out the side room, but I forgot to do that. Super Sides. Oh, thanks, Super Sides. I really appreciate it. We're at $4 from this, so we're only $1 away from getting $5, which is nice. Honestly, if I get $5 every stream, that'll really add up to getting a camera real quick. But Karma meets Ungust. Do I have to do a sad laugh, Ungust laugh in Memoriam? God, that really was getting more and more Waluigi as it went along. Gross bots indeed. Well, this is thrilling. Fire, Scorch.
Surrender thy vow to the flares of judgment.
I definitely should create like a voice synthesizer thing for certain bosses and stuff like this. I guess this isn't hard mode, so I'm not surprised. Or am I supposed to leave it? Because I don't want to get, because they're getting cleaved. It'll be fine.
Thy soul shall burn for eternity. art strong, mortal.
The duty support NPC become even more confident through A Realm Reborn. Yeah, I had heard as such. That's really cool. I need to make sure I'm getting oxygen. They even joined the Grand Companies. Yep, I love that feature. I love that part of it. A fun bit about the duty NPCs is that they start out kind of unsure about themselves until they gain confidence. Yeah. They really took time to make it a really interesting mechanic, more than just a random NPC thing. Wish the AR primals were given voices. Yeah. Well, I'll give them voices, Super Sides. I'll make sure to set a synthesizer up for like Garuda and Titan or something. We'll figure out how to add that to OBS. I really hope they don't go to Baelsar's wall. Oh, yeah. Ooh, Elvin. Ooh. Ow. Yeah, that's true. Garuda does get voice lessons in back half of Endwalker. That's a good point, Ramziel. Elvin, that's a really good point. I hope they are not present for those events. We know that it's not like all flames and people and Storm and Serpents were there, so there's a good chance that they were okay. This is, when you see this is what is the blessing of light. That's the difference. And so these crystals of light are supercharging it, basically. Blessing of light, separate from the echo. They are not one and the same. Pray, forgive my lateness. Yep. Great timing, Thancred. I was delayed by a congregation of Amalja zealots. I swear each seemed more evangelical than the last. Ugh, persistent lot. Got him. Whew. Thancred missing all the fun. I see the Bloodsworn wasted no time extracting the captives, no less, than I expect the Flame General's handpicked men. No less than I expect from the Flame General's handpicked men. As for those two, it's fair to say their hardships have only just begun. They have much to answer for. I feel I owe you an apology, Elio. I had known this mission would prove so dangerous, I would never have left you face it alone. You've been given a veritable baptism of fire. But let us continue this conversation in more agreeable surrounds. Camp Drybones, shall we? This way, sir. Do we get the Nero thing right here? Yeah, okay, I think we do. So, that was the mighty Ifrit. And what a disappointment he was. The readings are nowhere near what I had anticipated, even taking Ul'dah interference into account. You should have really... You should know better than to rely upon 5-year-old data left by the 7th Legion. Nor can we expect any form of support from the motherland, given the trouble at court. We have only ourselves to rely upon. Ever the persistent, my dear Livia. Promise me you'll never change. We've wasted enough time here that Mida of yours is too old to give any reading worth a damn. Not that there was aught worth a damn for it to read, but I take your point. I suppose we must content ourselves with the knowledge that we have achieved our primary objective. Yet I find that I am troubled by the adventurer's unexpected show of strength. Could such a foe prove a hindrance to our plans? Perhaps, but this is a consideration for another time. You've been given a task that is your priority. I suggest you treat it as such. Fail to do as my lord commands, and I will spare him the trouble of punishing you myself. Anytime she talks about guys, I'm going to make her go crazy. With allies like that, beware a woman in love. I shall need be on my best behavior. Livia, I assume she probably looks a lot like Lucia. If anything, I bet you could even assume that she is... I mean, probably not identical because of height, but very similar. Also, rip those tempered people. Yep, Kane. I wonder if they were mercy killed or if they were kept around until certain things were discovered. Tataru needs to smith the battle scions on being punctual. Yeah. So the order of the crystals is water, fire, lightning, earth, ice, wind. In terms of acquisition, I think it depends on where you start, isn't it? Because I think you get a different one depending on the location you start. And if you don't, then yes. Maybe you don't. No. Maybe I'm wrong. It's been so long. I'll have to tell you. You're probably right, Professor. I'll note as we go along. I've always wondered if Xenos is the same thing as Fordola does. You get the vision of the past. We see Fordola does, but never indication that Xenos does. Yeah, you see him with the resonance. He literally does the eye thing when he joins with Shinryu. He literally closes his eyes and open it, and the resonance is there. And you see it in multiple other places, Ramziel. All right, time to break from writing. I'm midway through the adaptation of the 35 Dark Knight quests. We're starting to get into some Eyes of Madness writing fun. Good, Kane. Also, the December people. I wonder what Livy looks like. A.R. Nero's dork, but I love him in every other expansion. The problem is he's a little bit of a dork, but he's really serious and also kind of a threat. Livioff gives yandere vibes. I mean, she is. She is one of those example of like an anime style thing. She is yandere as hell. Livia, sweetie, that's Gaius. That Gaius is your... No, please. Possibly missing an eye if her helmet is anything to go by. Maybe. It's possible. Livia and Gaius' relationship is squicky. That is her father? Where's the specific evidence for that? Can someone cite a source on that one? Because I don't recall that anywhere. Ah, there you are, Elio. Come, rest a while. You'll have no better opportunity after witnessing their god's ignominious defeat. The Amalja will be less inclined to risk our wrath for a time, at least. Now, where were we? Yes, I was in the process of apologizing. I do hope you can forgive me. I've arrived too late to be of any use to you or the abductees. They may be the whole of body, but the same cannot be said of their minds. For once a man is tempered. But it still suits me to dwell on the negatives. Amidst all our misfortunes, there's still reason to rejoice. If it is slain, and by your hand no less. That is the deed of no ordinary individual, Elio. Not that I've ever thought you were ordinary. On the contrary, I've long suspected that you have the potential to shape the fate of the realm. What can I say? My fine eye for talent remains undimmed. Memphilia will be proud beyond reckoning all when she hears your deeds. I trust you shouldn't object to my bearing tidings, sir. That way I can claim to have contributed something to the mission. You, meanwhile, have earned yourself a rest. Take some time to relax and return to the Waking Sands when you are good and ready. We can discuss matters in some more detail then. Just don't take too long, will you? The realm's problems won't solve themselves. Yeah, he's one of the adopted kids. Okay, yeah, then that's not really... That's different. That's very, very, very different to me than a biological child. I mean, frick, you want to... Naimia is just the same thing. Like, yeah, it's a little weird, but it's not weird that she... It's also one way, so it's not really weird that she would become obsessive, especially given her life and circumstance. Yeah, I thought you were meaning they were biological. Sid did say he almost mistook Lucia for her when they first met. Yeah, exactly, Super Spice. That's why I'm getting at the gun numbers. Yeah, Star Wars World. I know what you guys are referring to in terms of adoptive, but I thought you meant biological. That's why I was confused. Yeah, Professor, I would frame it like that. And again, like that it can be squicky, and that's a personal thing. But to me, there's a deep difference. Our organization, that she's a bit touched in the head and can't conflates father figure with obsession, and then also like romance is like, yeah. She's problematic as hell in terms of not her writing, how she's written, but like just as a specific character. Our organization, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, is formed through the union of two separate entities. The first was comprised of Sarlian natives, such as myself, and was called the Circle of Knowing. The second, made up of individuals that share your rare gift, was known as the Path of the 12. The terrible events that ushered in the Seventh Umbral Era taught us that only together may we stand against the evil that seeks to consume us. Where's my boy? Okay, we're going to talk to Arnvald once here. I am getting a little lightheaded, so we will talk to the rest of the Scions next time. Oh, hey, Olia is here. Alia. They say that those of... Oh, he has an Alamegan accent. I can't... Sean Bean, okay. One does not simply walk... I can't do Yorkshire right now. But they say that those of us who have seen the dream are chosen, that we have within us the seeds of greatness, that we could be heroes. Even me, an Alamegan half-breed, cast out when his mother could no longer stand the sight of him. A half-breed who once took the banditry just to eat. I'm sure I'm still just brimming with heroic potential. Fun fact, the reason he has that paint is because his mother tried to stab out his forehead, worried that his Allegan eye was worried that he would be growing an Allegan eye, which was impossible because he's only half Allegan. You have to be full Allegan to have the Allegan eye. But so he has the war paint to cover up the scar. Not going to do the glam quest. Probably not necessarily. I don't necessarily think I will. I might, but like we're not going to be doing glam. The triumphant hero returns. Thancred told us the news upon his arrival. He's presently in the Solar giving a full report to Lady Menphilia. You should join them at once. Lady Menphilia is most eager to see you. She's a real Loprit boiler. Budget only went as far as Nero's huge red hammer. Slope. Yeah, I'll practice after. I can do words, but I can't do like the... My late arrival nearly cost Elio his life. I was there when the Amalja took him prisoner. I wasn't there when they served him to Ifrit. I wasn't there when they took him prisoner. Yes, by some miracle he survived. But that does not excuse the fact that he should never have had to face these dangers alone. I failed him utterly. That just as I am failing you. What is done, Thancred. You can ill blame him yourself for every... Yo, sup? I have arrived. Elio, it's so good to see you again. Impeccable timing, my friend. I had just finished regaling Menphilia with your heroic exploits. Thancred has told me everything. You have done well to return to us. The perils you have faced were undoubtedly great, yet a part of me believes that I had no cause to fear, and now we can put paid to our long investigation. As suspected, the Amalja undertook both the robbery and the abductions with the aim of summoning their primal Ifrit. Nor is this tale limited to Ul'dah. Similar incidents have been rife in both Limsa, Laminsa, and Gridania of late. I dare say you've been curious as to how these crimes are linked to the primals. Permit me to explain. Having manifested in the physical realm, primals must consume aether if they're maintaining their presence here, and the stronger they become, the more aether they require. Now aether exists throughout creation. It flows through all life and permeates the very air that we breathe. Alas, this alone will not suffice to sustain the likes of Ifrit. Nay, he and his kind require a more concentrated source of aether. Crystals. Okay, just one second. I need to get up real quick, because I am... Alas, this alone will not suffice to sustain the likes of Ifrit. Nay, he and his kind require a more concentrated source of aether, crystals. It is for this reason that incidents involving crystals can often be traced back to a primal. Which leaves us to the why of the abductions. To understand this, you must first understand how primals are born. When all is well with the world, primals possess no physical form. Their essence is dispersed across the great rivers of aether. Oh god, it's going to be a long explanation. However, when the world is plunged into chaos, those who worship the primals cry out to their gods for deliverance from suffering. These cries served as a beacon toward which primal's essence is irresistibly drawn. It is this coming together or etheric coalescence which grants their beings physical form. Once born, a primal gains strength from its followers' worship. The more numerous and fervent they are, the more powerful their god becomes. But the primals are seldom satisfied with such reverence as their adherents freely give, and in order to gain more power, they do not scruple to create followers. They do this by tempering mortals, a process to which you yourself were subjected. Yet even as Ifrit looked to your comrades in his thrall, you alone remained unaffected. This is thanks to the power you possess, the Echo. We know not why of it, but those blessed with the Echoes are immune to the primal influence. It is as thought a great power protects us. Not really. When first you came to us, I told you that the Echo would be instrumental in dealing with the primal threat. I trust you now begin to see why. The recent incidents all share a common trait, meticulous planning. Such elaborate designs are a new development on which fills me with unshakable sense of foreboding. While I share your concern, my presiding feeling is one of relief at your safe return. The immortal flames assured me that they will deal with the aftermath, so no need to concern yourself with that. We may rest easy for a time. I suggest you take full advantage of the respite, Elio. You may be sure it won't last long. Once the people learn the identity of the hero who felled Ifrit, I fear you will have nary a moment to yourself. Whether she intended to or no, Menphilia neglected to tell you something I think it would be best you heard from one of us. It concerns the Templar abductees that were rescued. I'm sorry to report they are all to be put to death, the flames with whom you were imprisoned included. Needless to say, this information must not be made known to the public. I swear to you that we would not do this if there was any other recourse, but once a man is tempered, he is tempered for life. His very existence lends strength to the primal, whom he cannot choose to worship. And so with Scions can you continue our fight that no more innocents need be sacrificed. I hope that you will continue to stand with us, Elio. But I should be going. I must offer my apologies to the Flame General for the losses his people suffered. Till next time. Allegan Eye? Do you mean the Garlean Eye, Chris? Gods forgive me. How many more lives? Louisoix would have never allowed this to happen. I have to do better. I have to be stronger. Raban is a better Yorkshire accent than Ilberd. Yeah. When do you think Thancred gets his glam into darkness? Relatively soon after this point. I'll theorize as we get further along. The third eye gives heightened reflexes and senses, I think. That is their claim. It basically seems like it gives a wider area of view of perception. So like their field of view is a little bit wider. That seems to be canon. It is implied in multiple places, but every source that states it is incredibly biased. And so it's not entirely true that that's clear. Because we don't see people covering it very often and it being a problem or a limitation. But that said, Garleans bothered to create their armor with a port for them to see with their Garlean eye in it. So one would think that it has to have some amount of effect to bother having it open to the world. Jesus Christ. I'd watch his neck super closely from here on. The necklace is sometime after joining Grand Company. Yeah. Damn Ascians ruining my favorite part of Final Fantasy X. Wait, what did they ruin from Final Fantasy X? Okay, there's one last thing we need to do before we call it for today. We still have the same chess piece, and I need a different chess piece before I can call it. But while I'm doing that, thank you everyone so much for watching. If you would like to join our little community that we have here, I would love it if you'd go and check out our Discord. It's where we talk about lore, Final Fantasy XIV stuff in general, and it's just a fun community all around. If you'd like to support us, you can always send a super chat in the chat here, or on top of that, join our membership on YouTube, which I don't know if I have set up, so maybe not that. You can also look to the links in the for this video and consider offering money, offering us a few dollars to our Patreon. It comes with a couple of fun rewards, and it goes a long way to helping this entire thing become more sustainable. I'd also like to implore you to, if you like written works, go check out Naniri's articles on our website, the Eorzeanarchives.com. It is there are lovely pieces of stuff, and it's all fundamentally pictured as in-universe pieces of information. Let's find a chess piece. That seems expensive. Yeah. Forget, it may not even be better, but yeah. Oh my god, wow, it's worse? Okay, you know what I'm gonna do instead? I'm just gonna dye it. So at least it'll look different. Oh wait, do I not know how to dye? Fuck! Okay, it's fine, I'll leave it. Summoning. Ah, yes. Thanks for the stream and thanks for putting up my name randomly. Chris, no, I love talking with you guys. None of you have been saying. The only people who have been problematic whatsoever have been the Naked HD XYZ. Talking about, hey, I'm waiting for you 18 and plus dating. But before we finish, I'd also like to start doing this regularly, and I'm going to pull up a list of all our patrons, and I would like to read them off at the end of our episodes because we have them listed at the end of our videos, obviously. So if you'd like your name in the credits of our videos, feel free to join our Patreon. But I'd also like to make it a regular to call them out. And I need to actually, wait, no, I have it on my phone. I need to write them down in a place that's easier to access. Okay. Oh, come on, why don't you let me just see all of them, really? There's got to be a way to... Oh, come on. Okay, never mind. Doesn't show up on the phone. It only shows new ones. Give me one quick second. I promise you won't have to wait around for this in the future. Okay. So I'm going to read them by order of highest pledge. So I'd like to thank our avatars of Thaliak, Babalau Papalau, CB872, Lucifeel, and very much for all of your support. It means the world to me. It goes a long way. And I don't know why I'm thanking just them. Let's get to everyone first. I have not practiced this. I was not prepared. Sayrine, and for our forum members, we have Sayrine. Our Charlene Archons, we have Arcadicius, Brian Bogoltz, Highlander Furball, Joe, Lorian Sutton, Rainzar, Soothdane, Zachary Deranger, Merrick, Vane Dog, Le Barbecue, and for our students at Baldezian, we have Vane Dog and Le Barbecue. Thank you, all of you, so much. The fact that you support me on Patreon, yes, well, financially does so much to help in terms of trying to make this whole thing sustainable and allow me to potentially do it full time sooner rather than later. More than that, it just tells me that people really believe in it, and that means a lot. So thank you. I appreciate it a lot. With that said, I believe that is where we will be calling it for today. Actually, wait. You have to do the glamour and dying quests. Yep. Gotta go do the glamour quest. Super Sideswiper, why not just get one from your class quest? Because we don't have time to for today. That is why. But the plan is to do that next week. I thought we might get one from quests. So thank you so much, Super Sideswiper. I promise to put that to good use and not waste it. And for Chris, thank you so much for the cute little doggo. Actually, you know what? Give me 1 second. Have a good night, everyone, and have a wonderful time. I hope you have a lovely week, and I will see you all on Thursday. Also, don't forget, we have the community streams on Saturday and the lore book clubs on Friday. So if you're interested in that, go check out the Discord. With that said, cheers all.